Samuel is his name.
Hello, MGTOWs. Hello, man. Go your own way. Go your own way. And we are on the air, I think. I
Are
can
we
check.
live
Yeah,
from
let me check
London?
your sound and
Live from Northern Europe?
live from Northern Europe.
Samuel.
Yeah, I guess the sound's okay. If anything's wrong with the sound, like some guys will tell us when they come around.
Yeah.
And we really have nobody in so far. So, yeah. How was your week, Joey?
Oh, it was good. I got out, got some, the weather's been really breaking out good here. So got some sun and, did about 2 miles in the park, just walking.
Yeah, I've been getting out. It's been a little bit chilly this last week, and I've been under the weather. And but I got out like 3 times the other day, and 3 times, and then I started a new program of detoxification. So that really kind of helped. I've been using charcoal.
Oh, okay.
So
Charcoal.
yeah,
What are you doing with it?
I'm just putting it in water and chugging it like a man. I
Wow.
started out with like 50 milligrams, 50, and then I went 50 and then 50. And I'm thinking about, I don't think I need to do this very long. It's just like a 3-4 day thing you want to do. But right away, man, the first day I woke up the next morning and my legs felt better.
Yeah.
Usually, but that presents a question for me now. Why did my leg? Is there an environmental problem around here? And that's what I got to start looking for, is that environmental problem, which tells me if I do charcoal, then there's an environmental problem. Maybe I changed my water filter out, so that might have a lot to do with it. And I changed, so when you do something like that, you always have to ask the question of why did you feel better? Was it a placebo? I don't think it was a placebo, because pain is pain.
Yeah.
And
A lot of times your body just needs rest or.
yeah, that too. I noticed the first day that I did it, that I fell asleep in that bed, and then I slept all night long, and then I didn't want to wake up the next morning. It was like being a teenager when you don't want to wake up, and you're just
Yeah.
like, no. But it was Saturday that day, and I was like, no, I think I'm just gonna just lay here for a while. And then I got up and I did 4 bike rides. I did 2 bike rides to the store and then 2 bike rides to the other store that morning. And then I felt kind of like, no, this is kind of weird, because my legs don't hurt. And usually after 4 bike rides, my legs hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but now there's other questions of what environmental factor was there that was bringing me down. It could be, I don't think it's lead, or else I'd be dead. It could be, a lot of things. I'll check each little thing I can think of this week, and then kind of, I think just actually the air and being out in the environment and stuff like that, not being trapped in the house. There might be certain impurities from latex paints and stuff like that I have to get out of. Maybe I just need to clean my house too.
Yeah.
I need to get a stripper maid for about like 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Geez, stripper maids. Oh my God.
Stripper maids, yeah. I want to get one. They have the Molly maids, and then but that's like, oh, I could always get a Molly maid to come in here and clean, but I want one with like the French cut Molly maid uniform.
It's like that Neil Young song, "A Man Needs a Maid" or something.
Yeah, man needs a maid. Which is a maid is a really MGTOW thing, because you realize in the process that that complaint that women have that, oh, they got to do the cleaning and everything. Well, I could pay for that.
I saw this one video. The guy was talking about, like, she's talking about empowering stay-at-home moms. I mean,
empowering stay-at-home moms not to do what they're supposed to be doing at home.
I like this guy's channel a lot, but it's like, geez, when you make a title like that, I just couldn't even watch it. I was like, forget it.
Yeah.
Stay-at-home moms. Well, I don't even know what that means. Like, what does that even mean? It's like the guy's out there busting his ass, working for a job, doing a job he probably doesn't even like. She's home, relaxing.
Well, that's what we say about the traditionalism. It's like that's what he wants to bust his ass. He wants to kill himself, so she's at home. But there's certain benefits to that. That's it. That the expectation that of certain things that he wants. He wants dinner cooked. He wants a clean house, and he wants to treat it like a whore at night.
Right,
I mean,
right.
that's the traditional trade-offs. But then one of the things that they won't say, isn't it? That the Christians, they won't say that because that makes them look bad. Yeah, so Nietzsche was right about that. Nietzsche was right about his nihilism, and Nietzsche was actually an anti-nihilist. If you don't know about that, if you never really read Nietzsche, but oh man, I just ate some chicken. I grabbed a box of chicken on the way home on the bike.
What? Oh, right.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Oh, you ate a box of chicken? What is that? Yeah.
Yeah, I ate a box of chicken on the way home. I got a snack pack.
You know what? It's a good snack if you can get like that raw cheese milk.
Raw cheese milk.
Raw cheese milk. Cut it up, throw it in a little like Ziploc bag or something or whatever. Oh my God, it tastes so good, and it digests easily. It's good nutrients. You're not going to have. You shouldn't get any constipation or gas or anything.
Is that just like adding retinol to your milk, and then it kind of?
Yeah, it's because the pasteurized cheese is where you get the constipation and gas and stuff, right? Because
pasteurization is steaming this cheese up to a certain, but you never know what they're putting, what kind of water they're using to steam the cheese, whether there's lead in it. I would say Michigan cheese is highly trustable because they have a really good water system. But you never know with like people from other countries and stuff that really don't have great water systems making cheese.
I was just gonna say one second about that Nietzsche guy. So yeah, why read Nietzsche when you can listen to Venture? No, I'm just kidding.
Why read Nietzsche when you can listen to Venture? I should do a thing on Nietzsche one day because Nietzsche is highly misunderstood. They say he's a nihilist, but he's actually an anti-nihilist. He in his fight against Kant, he says Kant believes in religion, and I believe what Nietzsche says. But religion is an abandonment of all authority over yourself. You just give up everything, and you say, okay. And so what's the word? He uses a specific word in that. Not authority, all authorship in yourself, and so he writes his next book, which is blah 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 blah, which he gives like 6 tenets of anti-nihilism, like how to become. But nihilism is just like everything else. It's like you become nihilistic, you become existential. You have your existential age, your nihilism, your deconstruction, your all the things are the same. You have this momentary period in your life where you doubt everything around you, and that's what MGTOW is too.
Yeah,
you have to do one word. What is that one word?
No.
Yeah,
that's setting boundaries. Yeah,
setting boundaries, saying that one word. It's the no. That's I call it the idempotent no because it's an unchangeable no for a MGTOW. And what you were talking about with these guys coming around, they're always trying to convince us about like there's some other way than MGTOW, isn't there?
Well, they'll just call you an a-hole too. If you have good healthy boundaries, you're just pretty much called an a-hole. So I'll take that. I'll take a healthy lifestyle, or I'll take a healthy lifestyle of saying no to people and setting good boundaries. I'll take that in exchange for being called an a-hole. That's fine. I have no. I'm good with it.
So I give a bunch of the kind of sarcastically, like I am. They'll go, "Well, don't you?" And you go, "No." Can you? No. I don't see it my way. No. The MGTOW is so extreme. No. Are you gay? No.
Well, if you ever watch that movie Casino, like there's a scene where the Robert De Niro's character, Lefty Rosenthal, he's got this big sign on the back of his desk, and it says it has no in huge letters, like right, and then there's yes, like in really small letters, you can barely see it, like on the bottom of the no. And I just thought that was great, even when I saw it like over 20 years ago. I just, man, this guy gets it, and he was like probably one of the most successful casino executives ever. One of the sharpest because at the time, like he's probably like sharp. He was like the Billy Walters of his time, like the sharpest gambler, probably ever.
He was playing part of
De Niro. He played Lefty Rosenthal. Who was a
okay.
Chicago associate, guy connected with the Chicago mob, I think Chicago mob, and he's from Chicago. He's friends with Tony Spilotro. Yeah, but those guys ran like the Stardust, and he just ran his operation really well. He set good boundaries, and he had this one guy, like a friend of a friend, got this job with. It just in the movie, but I'm sure he ran a real tight ship at the casino, and he didn't take any shit because. You screw up a casino operation, you could lose a lot of money, right? For the owner. And this guy was messing around with the slots. Like slots kept getting hit, and it was like a rig thing. And he fired the. He goes, I like to do favors for people, whatever. But he ended up firing the guys. Even though he was a friend of a friend or whatever, and like he wasn't going to take any shit. The answer was no. That's it.
Yeah, his answer is no. That's what I call the MGTOW idempotent. Idempotency for anybody is a sum or a sum. That's like zero. 0 times 100,000 is still 0. And that's not going to change. And MGTOWs are like that. It's not going to change. All these attempts at changing us, it's still no. You want to be a father? No. No, don't you want to do this? No. No, don't you? They're very math. There's like sales terms too, idempotency and sales. And you know this because you're a salesman, you went to college, this is the set way. And that's what Rosenthal was saying. He was saying, this is the set way. This is the way we do it. And all the other answers to everything you're going to bring to the front of my desk, because you have to imagine, the conversation is no.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel about MGTOW. It's like you can bring a million things and it's no. And I can go deeply into my philosophical roots about why it's no and why we believe the way we believe what is that? Because I always use because by cause it's no.
Yeah. Well, that's why men always get themselves in trouble. Like they never say no to women, right? They're just always yes to women, and yeah.
Women do that too. They like you said no, but we can work this through. It's like no.
Yeah.
We must be intolerable to deal with because they're women do this all the time. It's like, well, don't you want to go out? No. Don't you like me? It's like, it's not pertinent. It's still a no. That has no bearing on what I'm going to do. And it's no.
Yeah, that's why you got to know your boundaries. You got to know yourself. You got to know what your boundaries are, because people are going to always try to twist your arm. And I mean, when you get older, you kind of understand those things better, where to set your boundaries. When you're younger, you're trying to figure yourself.
Boundaries, and they're permeable. you can bust those boundaries and come back and do that. No, that's a sign of immaturity too. I talked about immaturity. No, that's where Kant is right. That's why, even with Kant, even though he did try to believe, and because he thought that it didn't bother anything, that and it would just make things easier, and that's what Kant was doing too. He was just making things easier because he didn't want to do the argument, but there's a real immaturity thing that goes on in that, and you got to grow up and find yourself at a certain point and find your boundaries.
It's a very important part of life, because that ties into the codependency, and I mean,
the codependency of it all. You have to give, and it's a give and take. You hear it all the time. They're give and take relationships, and there's a lot more taking in there, isn't there?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like I think there's a Bob Marley song. He talks. He's like you give them an inch, then they want. If you give them an inch, then they want a foot. A foot, they want freaking 10 feet. It's like 10 feet, then they want 10 yards. It's like it never ends. They're gonna keep pushing your boundaries until you're pretty much freaking exhausted and broke.
Yeah, I came up with the hypergamy ladder. Them steps keep going, no matter what. You have a level on your ladder, but them steps keep going for her.
I know. Aren't they disgusting? They're ridiculous. The whole Deshaun Watson. I was looking at 22. He's got 22 accusers now. I mean, they liked him when he was giving them when he was giving him his money,
Yeah.
like you had no problem with that, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
problem where he was paying probably a few $1,000s for whatever he was getting. But now the money dried up or whatever. Or they figured, oh, now that someone put him up to it where now they can make more money. And it's what a coincidence though with the contract negotiation he's going through and all that stuff. It's all like the guy's obviously being like taken advantage of. Like
Who is that in Houston? I was going to say Jerry Jones, but that's not Jerry Jones.
No, it's Adams family, Illuminati, probably oilmen.
Yeah, he weaponized.
Yeah, Bud Adams family. The Freemason. I don't know what they are, but the bottom line is that it's really odd the timing of it all. That's all.
Yeah, the timing was perfect when he's going to get the biggest contract. I don't think he's worth the biggest contract because if he was worth that much to the team, they would have won more. I mean, even Baker Mayfield coming on the year with the worst team ever in history of football, Baker Mayfield made a difference.
Yeah. It's terrible that they spy on their own players, pretty much, and that's what they do, and they know it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
that's man. I know the laws on that, and it's the baseball laws about, and they're trying to overturn that now, where the players will have more impact on the business decisions and everything. But these guys, man, there's a lot of shenanigans that go on. Art Modell was always a big proponent of he was this anti-collusion. He was the first guy to file anti-collusion laws against the NFL because he's seen what they were doing. They're cheating.
Yeah, he was a real con artist stuff. So.
Yeah, he was worse business than ever.
Yeah, it's all about the money. It's like, come on, man. It's like you have this franchise in Cleveland, all this history, and
he wanted to give his son. He was such a poor. He lost money in Cleveland, where you sell out every day, whether you win or lose.
I don't get it. How he said he lost money, but he didn't. Of course not.
He didn't lose money. He took $168 million, gave that to David Modell, and he says it's for his kids. Yeah, because he lost all his money. He did that, but think about how much the team's worth now. If you would have stayed in Cleveland,
billion, over $1 billion, probably
billions. That's what team's worth, billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's worth a lot of money.
And that was so his end decision to leave was a bad decision too.
Yeah. Baltimore gave him all that money in that new stadium, and he's a piece of work. These guys,
Yeah, that's a funny little deal if you ever go down the history of that deal, because Washington was the first team to get offered the Browns.
Oh, okay.
And they turned it down. They said, no, we'll have none of that. And then Baltimore gave them $860,000, and that was taxpayer funded.
Yeah, so probably more than that. That seems low. 860,000, probably more.
860 million.
Oh, million. Yeah, that makes more sense.
$860 million, but that was taxpayer funded. So there was some legal things that were skirted, and he gave David Modell a future and everything, but not the future he deserved. If you owned the team, and really by this point, the Browns would have probably had 2 Super Bowls, and it's like, okay, so he screwed Cleveland, he screwed Baltimore, which he screwed he screwed his son over for billions, and we'll go down as one of the worst businessmen. He'll never get the Hall of Fame like he deserves. He does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, but them decisions will. He's like the what was the Cincinnati Red guys that was cheating?
Cincinnati Red, Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, yeah, he's the Pete Rose of football because, well, you just can't do that and get away with it, even though he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. As far as great people in football go, Art Modell was one of the greatest. He was he had such an impact on that team. I mean, look at the people that he surrounded himself with in the beginning too. I mean, all those guys are in the Hall of Fame, and give way to the Cincinnati Bengals, and football was created right here in Ohio, and we have the Hall of Fame in Ohio for reasons. And then he just screws that whole thing. What a loser, huh?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're already making millions of dollars. You just need more money.
Yeah.
And you betray the city that supported you, and because he was a nobody, he was a connected guy. Like he knew a lot of, he knew, what I mean? That's how got him in business was, being around all these unsavory guys, you know what I mean? He was a nobody. And then Cleveland lifted him up, and then
Cleveland lifted him up. No matter what he did, he was just a hero in this town. He would have stayed a hero too. That's the way Cleveland is, very loyal. But the businesses went under too. My bar went under at that point too. So it wasn't just this. The economic impact to the city was horrible. There was over 800 businesses shut down.
Wow,
crazy. But we're going to talk MGTOW today. And how did we get from here to there? Was it me or kind of the?
I don't know. We're just talking about boundaries and stuff.
Yeah, good boundaries. Being able to say no.
Right. That's a good sign. If you're and ignoring people, certain people, you just have to ignore them. Just don't return their phone calls. Like you have to have that. You have to embrace kind of that part of your person. Everyone's got it in them. To set those boundaries. You just have to really. What's the word? Like invoke that. Like when you need to.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't be have all this shame because you said no to somebody.
Yeah, it's the same as no means no movement. They're just saying that no means no, and that's what we're saying. But the hypocrisy of the no means no movement is when it comes to men saying no. Oh, we can convince you to be a father. We can convince you to pay all the bills. We can convince you to be the wallet, the ATM.
Right.
No doesn't mean no when it comes to male bodies, does it?
Yeah.
And agency, male agency, and we're talking about agency when we talk about no means no, but it doesn't apply to a male because he could be forced to be a father. He could be forced into that. He could be forced into a slavery, and he will be forced into a polygamous situation and have to deal with the polygamy of being baby daddy number 2.
Yeah,
that's where I always go off to the rail. Not off the rails, but I go off on a tangent at that point because you're forced into a tenet of barbarism. And but you could still stand up at that point and say, no, I did. And I think my life is pleasant now. I see a lot of guys negotiate with that and try to bargaining.
Yeah.
The bargaining.
Bargaining. That's a London term.
Bargaining. Yeah, you bargaining?
Yeah. Dark revelations.
No, he was right about that. Don't bargain with no.
Yeah, he was right. All right. I don't know about the dark revelations thing. I think that's
it's an idempotent no. It's a definite no. This is policy.
We don't have to be so negative. We should try to find optimism in MGTOW too. Like we don't have to have like. I mean, I like the guy that did that video. I think he's a good guy, but he's a little bit too dark. It's like, dude, dark revelations is like, why? Because you didn't get your traditional conservative wife that was a sex slave at night. I mean, it's like, come on, dude, just let it go. Just let it go and enjoy your life. I don't know. I didn't even listen to that video, but I just thought the title was really odd. Like that was
what was the name of the title on that one?
Dark Revelations.
Revelations.
I mean, he's a little too like. You just gotta just ignore the whole thing and just live your life. Enjoy your MGTOW. You don't have to have this dark, like this world we live in. It's so like I'm looking outside and it's nice and sunny. I'm going for a walk in the park and I'm in a little bit and it's like, come on. It's like he starts viewing the world as this dark place. Boy, you're gonna head down a really bad road. You really are. You're gonna have more anxiety. You're not gonna really enjoy yourself. So who gives a shit about like all this stuff going on? Like you just ignore it. You set good boundaries. Like we said, to say no. Like a lot of times you don't even have to say no. Just ignore them. That's what I did.
Ignore them. Yeah.
people that were bad influences in my life, I just ignore them. Like I was telling you about some chicks that were they asked me out. I've had at least 10 or 15 women in my life, ask me out, and I'm not inviting. I can't stand that stuff. And you know what I do? My move is like, oh yeah, sure, and then I just ignore them.
Yeah,
I just ignore them after. It's like I don't, I'm not going out with them. It's like whatever,
Yeah, I told about the girl at the dollar store, which said I couldn't lock my bike up, and then the only thing to do, she was following me around the store saying I couldn't lock my bike up outside, and I said, "Is there a bike rack?" She said, "No," and I said, "Of course." And then I walked in, and I was just ignoring her after that.
Right.
Like, as much as she went and got the boss, I ignored her. The boss came over, I ignored her, and I just did my regular personable self, and then I my 2 items, and I paid for them. Then I unlocked my bike and I left, and I just ignored them the whole time.
I did the same thing. I was at the post office, and there wasn't a bike rack, so I have a nice bike, $1,000 bike. I'm like, so I took the bike and I locked it. There was like a sign, like a handicapping sign, like one of those.
Yeah.
I just fucking locked it on that. I'm like, the hell with it. I said, I'm not bothering to handicap people. It's just a sign that like I wasn't like, I don't even think it was a handicap sign. It was like a no parking sign.
No parking sign.
So I locked it on that because it was important. I had to get this mail. I had a couple checks coming in.
Yeah.
It was a weird situation. So I walked in. Now I forgot my mask. So now I take my shirt. I put it over my mouth. Right. Now I go up to the lady. I say, hey, I gotta get some mail. She goes, you got a mask? And I just ignored her. I just totally ignored what she had said. And I said, hey, listen, I just gotta get this mail. And then she ended up getting it for me. But she was like, oh, you got your mail, so whatever. It's like, sometimes you just got to do that. You just act like you're not even
people.
Don't acknowledge what they say. Don't acknowledge what they say sometimes.
Yeah, that's a non-negotiable. No. It's like,
you got your mask. I mean, I'm covering my face with my fucking shirt. Like, what do you want me to do? I guess I could take my shirt off and like wrap it around my face. I mean,
right.
If that constitutes a mask, I mean, it's just, come on, lady. It's like, I'm not a threat here. This is ridiculous. Let me get my mail, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I just need to get this. I'm doing the right thing by putting my, and it's like, just get the faster you do it, the faster I'm out of here too. And that's one thing you can't explain to them. The faster we go through these motions, the faster I'm gone. And I really don't want to do these motions.
But I handled it well because I think like an amateur would have maybe got into an argument with her or something, but I needed her because I needed her to get the mail. So I said something like, "Oh, sorry, I'll just use this for now," and I covered my, covered my face with my shirt. So yeah,
it's hard to remember the mask on the bike too. I shoved 2 inside. I have a little case, and I just kind of shoved 2 down in there in case the one in my pocket. I can't even. Yeah. Sometimes when I ride, the one in my pocket will fall out, and then I'll get wherever I'm riding to, and it's like, oh shit, I don't have a mask. Or if it's a store or something, I just walk up to the counter, grab a mask, and I say, I'll pay for this on my way out.
Yeah, what's a good play is just throw a mask in your wallet and just for a backup.
Yeah, something. But
but
it's all irritating, and that has a lot. It's just, man, we gotta push through this life sometimes, don't we?
Yeah, I was thinking about that mask thing too. I think people are just totally overreacting, and I was probably one of them that overreacted with it because it's really not a big deal. They're trying to make it into like this big deal, and it's dividing the country: people that want masks and people that don't. It's just wear the mask. Like it's not a big deal. Just find a mask that I found one that's really with comfortable fabric that I can, breathe through pretty easily. And I just use, when you're in the store, you just wear it, and it's not a big deal. It's like, you can't make it into a big deal because it's almost like they want you to make it into a big deal to disrupt you, but don't make it into a big deal because it's really not.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't like it. I don't like wearing it. I think it's stupid. It's unconstitutional, all that kind of shit. But who cares? Just fit in. Just blend in. I was talking to RP about that. Like, I think we called it ghosting or whatever, ghosting in plain sight or whatever fucking that.
I should go get you my mask and show you guys what I would wear. I wear a motorcycle mask when I ride and bike. And I was just wearing that right because it got a breather, and I put the little things in there. And it's almost like a gas mask, motorcycle mask with it. And I was wearing that. People were freaking out.
Well, that's what we were talking about, drawing attention to yourself. You draw too much attention to yourself when you don't wear a mask. So just wear it and blend in, and don't make it into a big deal. You know, it's like just there's a lot of comfortable masks out there that you can breathe through easily. It's like just don't even. Yeah, this whole thing about they're going to take all our constitution. Oh, it starts with a mask, and next thing you know, they're going to take our guns, and then they're going to take this, and like people get a little crazy, man. It's just a stupid mask. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I watched. Who is it? Porter. What's his name? Porter from or Jim Jordan from. He was like taking our liberties, taking it, and then
Dr. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with your liberties. It's like everything. No. It's you're off the field. And I always talk about being off the field. He's making it about something that it's totally off the field of what it's really about. It's a biological fact that if someone sneezes on you and they have COVID, you're going to get it unless you have a mask.
I mean, I was playing poker with this guy. Like, this is before COVID, and he was wearing a mask. So I was like, kind of making. He's like, we got into a hand and we got a little argument. Like, and I said, well, I don't know, something happened. It's just poker or whatever. So. And I said, look at you wearing that stupid mask. Because he had like, I don't know, I guess like a lot of Asians, they because I noticed like in the West Coast, a lot of Asians don't wear a mask when they get sick. This is even before COVID. Yeah, but that's part of their culture. They're taught to do that, and they're doing it out of respect for other people. It's not so much for themselves.
Yeah, in poker, I can see it too. If you wear a mask and you have a jaw movement, if you go like this.
Yeah.
With deciding, and that means they're deciding on a hand, they're not sure about it, or they're happy about the hand, they'll move the jaw to one side.
Yeah, we got into an argument. Me and this guy got in an argument, whatever, and he wanted to fight after. So I mean, whatever, dude. You got to take the first shot. I said, you take the first punch. I'm not doing anything. I don't take the first punch in a fight. I said, you do what you got to do. I said. But it was over like this mask thing. It's not, this is again before COVID, but I just thought it was, whatever. But then, like I said, so anyway, it's just interesting how people are making it into a bigger deal than it has to be.
I got into a little push shove the other day in the same store that I always go to. And
wow.
It's like I was a real dick too. I mean,
yeah.
It was like one day when I was just feeling fucked up and everything. I got in the store and this kid walked in front of me on the sidewalk, and then he did some movement like that, get out of my way.
Yeah.
I followed him around the store for like 10 minutes, just fucking dick getting into his face. And it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Look at me. I kept doing it.
You got scared probably. I guarantee you got scared.
I get in the back until I left after that.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean,
I was at such
up to these people. They back off. They'll back off for sure because they're once you establish your boundary, that's not right. You should not be bumping people and doing all this stuff. And
it's like, and he was totally wrong. I just wanted to admit that he was totally wrong in being like a millennial, and it's like I was just gonna crush him.
The toughest guys are always like the quiet guys that don't even,
Yeah. Well, that's the
big mouths are the biggest pussies around. They're the biggest.
He could do any action or make any gesture he wants to people, and he thinks he can get away with it, like on the internet. And it's like, no, not in real life, not with real men. You don't get away with those things.
Well, there's not a lot of real men left in this society, that's for sure. They're not really like they're not like hunting and fishing and stuff like that. Like those are things that we should be. All men should know how to do those type of things. I mean, I'm not as competent as I can be, but I can probably learn that pretty easily. That type of stuff,
Yeah, that's you just do guys shit, but I don't know. I feel bad for the millennials because their whole society is
social media and stuff. We're looking at that Kevin Samuels guy, life coach or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's talking to women like it's like he's pretty retarded, this guy. And JK and RP I were watching video, and he's like talking to this woman, and I don't know. She was I guess she was 36. She was her first husband had a kid together, and she's like, oh, I want to date other guys, but I can't find the right guy. And he was saying, well, why don't you go back with the first husband? And
he was looking for baby daddy number 2.
Right. He doesn't understand that. He was like, why would that guy want to go back with her? Like, he was like assuming that guy would just want to go back with her. you know. But you're right. She's looking for baby. She's looking for daddy number 2.
Right? Yeah, if she can't find it, all those years, she could screw around and be just as polygamous as she wants to be, and then at the end, she'll still be looking back to number 1 and be like, "Oh, can we get back together?" I mean,
yeah, this girl was a nutcase too. She said, "Because how much money you need to retire?" She needed like $6,000 a month. Who the fuck needs $6,000 a month to live on? I mean, I know it's her and her son or whatever, and they live in Southern California.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. It's like, and she had a good job too. She was like an accountant, and I don't know. This Kevin Samuels is real painful, man. He's got like this 3-piece suit he wears, and he just gives people like this. He's a trad cuck like guy,
Yeah. And you need to live. I have it figured out to about $1,800 a month to live in our area.
Yeah.
That's not overage. That's like paying your bills and being able to afford a decent car and and no gambling. Yeah.
Well, you can become the bookie and whatever, but I wouldn't recommend that. But but there's but you can even cut that. If you had a roommate, you can cut that down even more.
Yeah, if you have half rent or no rent, like I own my house. So it's either, you can drop down to nothing, or you can go galt too, and one day jump on a bike with a tent and a sleeping bag and just drive around the country.
Well, yeah, and that's setting good boundaries too. Is that you're not going to participate in this mortgage thing or
you're not going to participate in their scams and
right. Or even working for a corporation, like they're taking 30% off the top of your check. I mean, it's like that's guaranteed money for them. Like if you have a independent business, 1099, or if you're a cash business, well, you can report what you want to report. I mean, you shouldn't. I wouldn't recommend anyone break any tax laws, but when you have a cash business, you have a lot more power. And I mean, you know what I'm saying. So so like this goes back to setting good boundaries too, in terms of like, do I really want to go partners with this government that's taking these taxes off the top?
Right.
The
MGTOW view, going galt is kind of important. We rarely ever talk about it. When you first go MGTOW, you might want to consider going galt too, so you can find yourself. You can find what's important to you, how to do these things, and the unique MGTOW way you're going to have to do them. You're eliminating everything from your life, and that includes the government, that includes women, that includes social constructs of See, that's why I often talk about Durkheim's non-material facts and material facts, social facts, is because it works right into the concept of MGTOW, and now you have an identifiable word. These things you're getting rid of. What are you getting rid of? Some of the MGTOWs that, like you were talking, they're not getting rid of nothing. They're just fake. What do you call it? What do I call them? Frat boy MGTOWs. They're not getting rid of nothing. They're not deconstructing their lives. They're not reconstructing a new life. They're sticking with the same old frat boy mentality, and their kind of MGTOW has no philosophy in it because they never thought about a philosophy. Their kind of MGTOW is just hit it and quit it, and that's not a philosophy. That's a personal choice.
They're choosing pleasure over.
Right, it's a hedonist. If hedonism is a philosophy, then I can see that. But there are certain things a philosophy is, and it's not personal choice. The philosophy is based on tried and true, proven ways from men smarter than you, and it's experience. Is there a beeping?
No, I just have a phone call coming in.
Okay. I was like,
it was my buddy. We're gonna go walking.
Oh, cool.
But, but what was I gonna say? They don't get it. They just they're chasing like this fantasy. Like we always talk about fantasy fiction,
right?
It's like you're chasing this fantasy, and I don't know, like just the reality is that women are not. They're like Claire. They're all like Claire. All women are like that. All women are like Claire. Eventually they're gonna throw the knife at you. You know, eventually you're gonna be in the kitchen with a woman and she's gonna throw a knife at you. If you have a long enough relationship with her, she'll chuck the knife at you. She'll stab you in the back. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
No matter what. There's no exceptions. Yeah. There's no exceptions.
Yeah, there are no exceptions to that. Oh, there it is. I was trying to look up this what is a philosophy thing. I was going to do this one day about it because you hear the guys like, oh, MGTOW is not a movement, it's philosophy. Well, that makes no sense at all. It can be a movement. Existentialism was a movement and a philosophy. That's the same thing with MGTOW. It's not about it's not about your personal beliefs. MGTOW is not about your beliefs. Philosophy is not about it. It's not about being particularly unique types of thinking. It's not a particularly unique type of thinking that you may possess, which discontinues the woke movement and everything. Philosophy provides a body of evidence of philosophers before you, and it's just not personal. It's not contradictory. It's not personal. It doesn't have a universal meaning. There's a lot of things about philosophy that people need to learn, but if you have that frat boy mentality and your philosophy is about personal choice, you are wrong. And but we see that with the I call him the high intensity salesman, kind of Chris Cantu. His philosophy was about personal choice, and we see it like Terrence Popp. He's like got that frat boy thing happening.
Yeah. He's got that fake. That
appeals to a certain.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know the guy. I shouldn't really bust his balls.
Yeah, I like Terrence, and
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy and everything, but he's trying to cash in on. This he's like more of an entrepreneur than really giving out good information. Like he'll just go with whatever like makes him the most money. Like I feel the same way about TF. I don't listen to him either. The TF guy or what's his name? I don't know. I don't think too highly of those guys.
CF.
What's his name?
CF MGTOW.
Yeah, any of those guys. That's why that's one of the reasons why I do respect Lazarus a little bit. Is that at least he's I know he's a trad cuck, but and I definitely respect Shining more. It's like at least those guys, they were not all about the money. They weren't about trying to build a brand and make money off of people like these other fucking yahoos.
Yeah. Most of the time with the MRA, that's what they're doing. They're building a brand. They think that MGTOW is going to, or the MRA is going to, that's how they're going to impact the world and everything like that. No, they're just. But as we've seen with the one group, all of a sudden the first picture and then the second picture that they put out, there was that girl. As I said, automatically there was a girl in that last chair. All of a sudden there's the girl in the last chair. Now pretty soon she'll move to the middle chair.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with the MRA too, with the honey badgers and the theft of all the money, and that's what we say is going to happen.
Yeah.
If anything, the MRA during that time with what was there, the woolly bumblebee thing, and honey badgers and that stuff. If they proved anything, they proved us right.
Yeah. They don't get it. It's like
cautionary tale. But
I tell you what. Like I don't know if I told you about that. Remember that guy I was telling you about does the diet stuff?
Oh, vegan gains or something like that. Diet stuff. I think we lost Joey. Okay. Yeah. Did we lose you?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm texting my friend. Sorry, I'm on the other phone. Yeah. So he's a really smart guy. Like he's really smart. He's got some really good ideas, and he knows a lot about diet. Right? Yeah. He knows a lot. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. This thing, my blood pressure is like 117/64 now. After following pretty much a raw meat diet with raw foods. Like I still cook the eggs a little bit. I shouldn't, but yeah. And then I eat raw milk, raw milk cheese, and Yeah, I'm just eating healthy. I'm eating meats, no carbs, pretty much, right? So my blood pressure is like perfect.
Yeah.
My blood sugar is like down to 120. You know, I'm like that. So anyway, so the guy's really smart with that. But anyway, he gets this chick knocked up. The girlfriend he's been dating for 2 years. And now I guess she did something with the baby. Like he like did some stuff. I don't know what the fuck she was doing, but he's like, so now he's like, there's a guy that's really smart, and he doesn't even understand the MGTOW principle. Like he's like, I think we're even smarter than him. Like
Right,
the guys that are truly following MGTOW, like this is a guy that I really respect, right? Probably one of the smartest humans out there. Like because he's sharp. He's no dummy. He's sharp. He has a lot of good ideas, right? So but he doesn't even understand the MGTOW concept. Why would you knock up a woman? But then he's following. Like he said, the one smart thing he did is he got away from her. And then obviously he's going to have to pay consequences because the state's going to come after him. But the thing is, like, the MGTOW guys are the ones, like, I think we're the most evolved people on the planet. I mean, I really honestly believe that. Oh my heart.
The state's going to come after him with the polygamy rules now. And he's going to be.
Yeah, they're going to get him. They're going to get him, and he's going to try to defy it, but he's going to end up probably going to jail if he does, right?
Yeah, you could do it a couple ways. I give a. I mean, no is the best. Still is the best answer to that, but I mean, you have to do certain things, and you have to be willing to say I'm not a slave to them, and that's where I was willing to say I'm not a slave. I'm not your slave. Let's like
it
is.
I think SFM did it, but I think even he was probably too nice in paying child support.
It's hard to deal with those people. Most people aren't like me. They're not that.
No.
I have a certain ability to be real sharp with people, and I don't care who it is, from cops to lawyers.
Yeah.
If it's the president of the United States.
That's right.
Like an ass, I'm going to say you're acting like an ass.
Right. Just strip them of their, like this guy was talking, like just like a police officer. It's like, okay, I respect police and everything, whatever, but just strip them up. When you're talking to them, just act like they were in plain clothes, like
strip them of their
like, yeah, like don't act like you don't have to get intimidated. Like whenever the cop car gets behind me, my heart rate goes up a little bit because I know what they're capable of. I know they're not the smartest people.
You have a gun, and you should be afraid.
Right. I know their history, and it's like it's like, oh, here we go. It's like you got a brake light out, or here's a $500 fine. It's like how it is.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be giving these people in authority all this respect because they don't deserve it. I mean, they don't deserve it. They're corrupt, especially and judges are worse. They're terrible too. Judges.
Right. Yeah. It's like you have to pull away everything. That's why part of the reason I don't drive anymore is because I'm not giving them money. I'm not letting them extract Robin Hood road taxes from me for the sheriff of Nottingham there for. I mean, I got sick of them. They put the business they put me out of business. I mean, and that's anti, that breaks so many what it was, those rules. I can't remember the name of the rules. Them doing that put me out of business. And, so I said, okay, well, I can figure this thing out in a different way. But that's up to you too. That's what MGTOW's telling you. When you do these things, you're going to have to figure out alternate. I can't give you the alternate means on how to figure these out.
Right.
I can't stay on the air.
No, we have a lot of ideas, right? I mean,
right. You're going to have to do that.
Like I'm just talking like wink, wink, like, hey, fake ID. The world's pretty big. Right. It's kind of easy to get away. It's like
the world, get a fake ID.
Stuff
like that, and I will tell you, like, if you ask me,
this is part of the novel. This is part of the novel I'm writing. That's a fictional work. So, but if I ever had to be in that situation, right, you have to get creative.
Right, you're going to have to get real creative because I was in that situation. I had to make my way out of it, and
right. But it does start with no. I think it does start with no. You're not going to be a slave, like you said. That's the big question. You're not going to be a slave, right? Or even like great. You're not going to give into that traditional thinking that assumes that the justice system's fair. Like look at Timothy Blades. Like I mean, they freaking pretty much murdered the guy.
Right.
In prison. That was not an accidental death.
I believe they murdered him, and I talked to. I never put up I could probably get them off my Google, but I talked to lady that wrote the article, and
yeah.
It's like, oh no, they murdered him. They had no reason to keep him in prison.
Because he was getting healthy. He was doing fine. I know he had some issues in the past, but I think he was getting healthy and doing fine.
He was getting healthy, doing fine, moving along in life. And all of a sudden, he's in prison the next day and his father-in-law just so happens to be the sheriff in that county.
Right.
They murdered him, and
and then probably on the orders of his ex-wife, I would think.
Right on the orders. They got an agent, which was the neighbor, and she was an agent, and they manipulated it, and that's what the government is. If you want to take a good look at what they can do to you, and we're supposed to have all this freedom and everything in America, but we don't. Take a good look at Timothy Blades as how he ended up dead.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you don't, just avoid jail. Because if I ever get pulled over for traffic, I'm totally respectful to the police because I know because I know they're not too smart, so I just do what they say, and
right.
I pay all fines, all that stuff. It sucks, but you try to avoid those situations the best you can, but sometimes it just gets you for whatever reason.
I had two. It was the white van thing. They kept pulling me over for the white van thing, and of course I have a white van. I'm a building construction, and and of course I have a white van. And every time they come around, they said open the back of it, and when they see there's nothing in the back of it, and they were expecting probably immigrants or some a tied up girl or the myth of the white van, and then instead of just letting me go, they have to issue me a ticket for something. And some of these tickets were pretty ridiculous, but after 12 points, I have to do a reinstatement fee, and I had to do 2 reinstatement fees because I kept getting pulled over for nothing. I'm a really good driver.
Right.
I never go over the speed limit. I looked, I bought oversized mirrors. There's backup equipment. It's like, and finally it was like, no, these people are corrupt. And we talked
it's like a black man in a nice car, driving like a Lexus.
Right. If you're a black man in a nice car you're going to get pulled over.
Pulled over. They think you're a drug dealer or whatever. They have no respect. Yeah, they're fucking idiots.
Yeah, and we talked about that. We talked about that last week with
that kid that got shot. I mean, first of all, I don't want to sound like a trad cuck here, but too much. But women should not be police officers, first of all, and then second of all, you can't have these scrawny, the guys like me and you, right? 6'1", 6'2", big, strong, big shoulder. Like we should be police officers because that's going to de-escalate so many situations right there.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should not have these scrawny guys and these women as police officers. That should, it's just, because I think that's what happened. She was like scared, right? Because she's a little twerp and she's scared. Like you said, fearful people do fearful things, and then I think that's what ended up getting the guy killed ultimately, right?
Right. Yeah, I was looking for my explanation.
Maybe I'm wrong there at saying that, but I just don't like that whole idea. Like that really bothers me.
Yeah, if you're looking for the mafia, you don't have to look too far. They are the mafia.
I know. They totally are. Like
you violate when you violate what is that crime called?
To like church mouses. Like the mob is the mob are like little church mouses compared to the government and FBI and CIA. They're the real fucking they're killing on a mass scale. Like they're doing illegal shit on a mass scale,
I had this written down just for this conversation, but I can't find it.
They say the mob, that's all they are, is just a group of guys. They're like a gang that but they got too stupid. Like guys like Gotti and stuff. He's such a fucking idiot. He should have kept his mouth shut. And they had a good thing going. And now they still have a good thing going, but they don't have as much power. But the thing is, the government's power is just fucking ridiculously, like, incredibly strong. Like they get away. Like look at the extortion, like you said, just on traffic tickets alone.
Right, traffic tickets are the biggest thing.
That's extortion. I mean, I had a $500 ticket when I was in California on vacation. I got a $500 ticket because I crossed like a double line that because I had to get off an exit and I didn't know where I was, and I crossed the double line. It was, it wasn't a dangerous move, and that's it. It was a $500 fine. It was ridiculous on a carpool because I was staying at Airbnb.
Yeah,
and I went to lunch with the guy there, and then I crossed the double line, $500. I mean, that's a lot of money, man. That's like, wow. It's like, I can understand $100, but 500, yeah.
Yeah, they're man, I'm searching for this idea in my head about what this is.
About what, the extortion, like the government
racketeering. They've become the biggest bunch of racketeering. In the whole world. Racketeering is making up a group that extorts money from someone on an idea that they're helping them.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like I say, how can you be helping when the police show up 10 minutes late? They only show up after the crime is done. So it automatically it's racketeering.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. I mean, and then like you think about the lawyers, how much money they're making on
lawyers, extortion, and they're the biggest racketeers in the world. And
right. And they bait and switch too, because even like DWIs and DUIs and all that, like they create this culture where they encourage drinking, all these beer commercials and all this kind of stuff, and then meanwhile, if you go out and have a couple of drinks and you can't drive, and okay, of course you can't drive, you're impaired, of course, but why are you creating this culture? And they do it with sex too, right? They all these like sex magazine, the movies and sex magazine, so they encourage these guys to have sex and then this like try to they create all this like a society of a bunch of like thirsty guys and that's what leads to all this men acting crazy when it comes to sex.
Porn. There's so much porn out there and
right
and stuff like that.
Right.
Creating the culture of that, and then they're wondering why the men are
Right. They do it with the alcohol. They do it with the drugs, like this whole marijuana thing. I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs, and I quite honestly, I don't respect people that smoke marijuana. Oh, there's nothing wrong with marijuana. Yeah, bullshit. It's a fucking toxin. It impairs your judgment and your mind. No, it's not good. It's not healthy. Yeah, I don't want to hear this shit, peace pipe shit. I don't want to hear it.
Racketeers got a business on it now, don't they?
Right. They do it with all these drugs and all this kind of stuff with cocaine,
prescription medication with the opiates too. How does all those
that too? Prescription meds too. Yeah, exactly.
Because that $30 for a hit of what is that OxyContin? For $30 a hit of OxyContin, and you're getting $2 from a prescription. Which way do you think they're going to sell it if the government allows it? And the government's in on it too. Right,
of course they're in on it. Of course, Bill Clinton had an airport built in Arkansas.
Next time you go by a bar and you see a cop there and everything, get out and ask him. I says, if DWIs are illegal, if you can't drink while you drive, why is there a parking lot in a bar?
Yeah, exactly. Don't have exactly. That's a good point. Yeah, it's like they're just a bait and switch. It's a continual bait and switch, and I can't stand these movies where they got these 35-year-old actors and they're playing teenagers. I love they're doing all this reckless shit. And
the movie Grease when they're like that 42-year-old was paying like.
They're all having. It's just, the movie. It's just, I have like no respect for these people. I mean, because I lived out in LA and I used to go out to Hollywood a lot, and just because Hollywood's got the best restaurants, like the fucking great restaurants.
Saying about in that movie Grease, you got these 42-year-old overage actors playing 15-year-old girls and everything, and telling them, "Hey, being sexual liberty, having sexual liberty is fine."
Yeah, then they're knocking, having babies and
having babies.
And then your life is destroyed, because you watched this stupid fucking movie. I mean, it's like they take it seriously. Like I was listening to that that guy I was telling you about. He had a video. He linked a video, and the director was from I want to say Taiwan, but he was just saying how you can't. Like pretty much his whole thing was like the movie is just a movie. Like people don't understand. It's not real life. It's just a fucking movie. Like he was doing it through a translator, and he was talking about how people look at movies too. They get too involved in the movie too much. Like you got to understand it's just a fucking movie. It's not real.
great philosophical movies like the one in Schenectady where you used to live.
Yeah.
Schenectady, New York. It was that's a
Oh
great.
yeah, it was well, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Schenectady, New York, and
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think it was.
Yeah, and Johnny Depp and Crybaby. Do you ever think about in the prostitute? What was her name that was in that movie? Tracy Lords. And the philosophical overlay from that movie into like what happened at the end and all that. That's a great analogy for what we were talking about, over sexualized lives and
yeah.
It's like, but yeah. Ooh, yeah.
It's crazy because I knew this doctor in Vegas, and I only called on him a couple times. I really liked him. He's a really nice guy. He was a Vietnamese guy or something, or not Vietnamese. I don't know. He's an Asian guy, and just I don't know. I forget where the hell he was from, Laos or whatever. And the next thing I know, like a couple years later, he got arrested for he was like molesting some of the younger patients, right? And I'm like saying to myself, here's a guy, I don't know what the fuck he was a little off a little bit. And looking back, he was a little off. He was a little too friendly. He was a little too friendly. But then I'm thinking, boy, he must have just gotten to this thing where we're in a culture like I don't totally yeah, it's his he should not be doing that shit, of course, right? But I'm almost thinking like, is it all his response? Is it all his fault that happened when we're in a culture with all this like all this pornography that's easily available, and all this other like sex shops and all these women with these fake boobs and their tits hanging out and acting all fucking crazy? Like, is it all his fault? I mean, probably not all his fault. Like, he's involved in this culture. Yeah, he's involved in this culture where this is like acceptable behavior. Not molesting, but acceptable behavior to be a whore, pretty much. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to get into the trad cuck thing, like where women should be like, covering their faces or whatever. I'm just trying to say, like, we're in this over-sexualized culture where men are...
You can see a lot of it trickle down into morality and ethics, and the warped morality and ethics that people do have.
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke about your doctor. Remember the South Park episode? Like when
Randy Marsh?
Why did you rape me? Not effective enough?
Yeah, it's like, dude, that's why it's to the point. I don't even like talk to women. I don't even like talk to women. It's like, I don't even talk. Like, I just look at them. I don't even look at them. I don't even like acknowledge them. I don't even acknowledge them in public. I don't even like...
No, me too. I just
I just don't even want to get involved. Like, for your trouble. Like, they're like dynamite. They're like sticks of dynamite. Like, I see women as sticks of dynamite. They're just explosive. It's just you don't know. They're right, and then they can take everything. They can take everything. They can destroy your life so quickly.
I do creepy smile when I ride by, and I just go.
Yeah, they're just so like weird. They're so awkward now. They're just so weird with the social media too. Women are just like, oh yeah. I don't know. It's really bad, man. It's like yeah. It's anyway. And you, like I said, we can tie it back to the drinking too. But it's not just the sex. Is again the drinking, the drugs. Like it's like all these destructive behaviors. They're like baiting people to do those type of things and trying to say, look how fun this is. And then look at the switch. Right? What's the switch? The switch is your life is fucking destroyed. Sorry, I don't mean to keep swearing, but you know what I mean? It's like your life is destroyed because you follow that fantasy fiction.
Because the fantasy fiction, right?
Right. And that's why go back to our main premise for this video is no. Understanding no. I'm not going to do drugs. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to have all this crazy sex because it's a bad boundary. Right? That's an unhealthy boundary.
Yeah, we could teach so many sociopaths. We talked about this before. Sociopaths, you just all they need is a general learning ability. They're not like psychopaths where they can't learn how to have empathy. Sociopaths can. Most of them can, and it's just the learning how to teach them, how to rehabilitate them, and everything. But when they're inundated with all this other garbage from it's man, how are you supposed to be able to teach them? Of course, they're going to act on their impulses.
Yeah.
And that's most males. I'd say most frat boy males now, they're going to act on their impulses.
I know. It's terrible. I mean, there was a kid out here in the university here. He was out having a couple of drinks, and he's like 20-year-old kid. He's a lacrosse player, and you know, it's like the school that, you know, city I live in, the lacrosse program is one of the top in the country. So he's obviously a good athlete. I think he's from Ohio. And, like, and then he went out, had a couple pops.
Yeah.
Something to some chick because he was a little drunk. And next thing you know, he's like, "We're gonna arrest you." I don't think he got arrested. He ended up having to transfer schools, and it's like, where did he learn that behavior? And it's like probably through some stupid fucking Will Ferrell frat movie,
right.
And you know, or you know, whatever, right? He's learning this behavior somewhere, right? That's not like healthy, right? And then the women are always going to get protected in those situations. And then next thing you know, he lost his scholarship and whatever the hell he's doing now. But
we had the P-Pass this week. What did we see this week? With the Kim Potter, Derek Chauvin, Kim Potter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The chick that
second degree manslaughter, and he gets first degree murder.
Right.
It's like, oh. Yeah, they're always going to get away with that stuff. You know what I found out this week too, and it goes back to some of my original videos about psychopaths. Psychopaths like bitter food.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a proven. I found out it's a proven neurological thing that psychopaths like bitter food. So when I talk about how I like my coffee bright and fruity, and why I roast it the way I do, because it doesn't taste like Folgers, and Folgers are really bitter. And it's like, and I always thought that there was something wrong with somebody that can't tell the difference between good coffee and bad coffee.
Yeah.
And it's for guys out there that if you want to tell whether your friends are psychopathic or sociopathic, just ask them what coffee they drink.
Or just or like a guy that buys like the finest cuts of ribeye and overcooks it.
Yeah, he has no taste in that. That segment.
I have a ribeye I have a fillet well done. You know, like these.
Yeah, I'll have a fillet well done.
How do you enjoy a fucking fillet that's well done?
What are you doing to that thing? Or I used to know a guy that he'd get fillets. He'd put ketchup on it.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's pretty weak.
And he expected no one to say something every time he did it at the table. Everybody be looking like, "What are you, fucking weird?"
Yeah, it's like that's defeats the whole purpose of having the steak. Just have ketchup then. Don't even you're enjoying the taste of ketchup, not the steak.
Yeah,
the flavor of the steak is you know, that's sufficient, right?
Yeah,
should be.
So I found out one of my other ideologies in MGTOW about, you know, the way you run your life, and I use coffee as my intro on that, but it's true. It just happens to be true. And women's brains work like psychopaths' brains. They don't use their whole brain.
No.
Cortex and then their middle areas, but men use their whole brain.
I had this chick that I used to work with like 10 years ago, and I give her references, you know, if she's looking for jobs, and, you know, she helps me out. I get reference from her, and she sent me a couple messages, and I like got back to her, and then she didn't even respond back. Like, she sent me like 3 or 4 messages. What the hell's wrong with this woman? It's like, I like her. I mean, she's a nice lady, but
yeah,
are you that like unprofessional or retired? Like, what the hell's wrong? Like, you know, it's like I just sent you a message back. It's like it's appropriate thing is to respond and say, okay, thanks a lot or whatever. You know, like nothing. No, I don't hear anything. It's like I'm just done. It's like I have no women that I talk to anymore. I'm
right.
I'm done. I just don't have anything to do with them. They're so wishy washy. They're just so wishy washy and like that dependent nature they have. It's like they're just all they do is take. Like you said, they're cannibals. So they are.
Yeah, there's women in my life that are friends that are okay that I can talk to and speak to and everything. But I give the opinion. I give the example of Jane, the sandwich girl. She has a reason. She's nice. She makes my sandwich every day, most days, and not every day, but some days. But I give her a $5 tip. She does her job. She does what she's supposed to. She keeps her composure, and she's nice. And that's a great relationship. But it doesn't mean I like every woman that, you know, there's the 2 other girls that man, they're deceitful. They talk too much. They're in the other stores. I mean, but I just smile and just be nice to them. And it's even though they're probably the typical examples of two baby mamas, and they're both baby mamas, which I found out. It's like, no, there are some nice girls out there, but I cut it off at a certain point too. Jane has her, she has her purpose, and that's sandwiches.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a good way to find out. Like, if you need a quick snapshot of a person's character, and I hate, and this might sound mean, but find out how they were raised, right? If they grew up in a double, if they grew up in where their father was like a outdoorsman or something like that, like, chances are that they're going to be a high quality type of person, right? like their father was a hunter and fisherman and
right. There's a
badass, you know what I mean? Like right, like, compared to their father was an executive at IBM, or worse, if their mother, they weren't even raised by a father. They're going to tend to be a little more crafty and more like people you want to stay away from. No, there's a girl where the guy's my father was a butcher at a supermarket. Yeah, well, boy, he's probably going to be a pretty high character type person. I mean, I hate to make those type of judgments, but it's
that standpoint epistemology. They have a standpoint epistemology. Right. World and there's a girl who goes on my favorite crappie fishing area, and I see her down there all the time, and she fishes crappie there like I do. And she talks, and it doesn't bother me at all, one little bit, because I could tell that she was raised the right way, and she has a good standpoint epistemology.
Right. I see that a lot more with these people in the rural areas where I live. Just how they act, they're just very polite, and
yeah, she's polite, and she shows
just how they are. Like, right?
It's like
right. Because you get into cities like LA and Vegas, boy, you get these guys that are just a bunch of fucking yahoos. I don't want nothing to do with them. Just stay the hell away from me, man.
Yeah. But you
got to make those judgments. You really have to make those judgments as you get older. You can't. Yeah, like the single baby mama kids. Forget it. They're
right there. You have boundaries. That's one of those boundaries. It's like you're not going to pass that ethical standard. Going, I think I'm going to get together with. She has two other baby daddies, and I think I'm going to get together, and I'm going to be so special that she's not going to do that to me, and I'm going to overlook all that behavior. That unethical polygamy. It's like, no, I'm not going to overlook that.
Yeah. I guess that's why I should have more respect for TFM, because at least he acknowledges that his mother was an a-hole or whatever.
He acknowledges his mother was an a-hole. He knows there's stories that are horrifying that he tells about his childhood. And you can understand that he knows how it is, but his examples of the world are different than everybody else's examples, where he has his mother and he has the fat girlfriend that got skinny. Yeah,
that's a good one.
He picked purposely a fat girl and so that was happy with him, and she got skinny and left him.
Yeah.
He abated in that. He helped her diet and helped her get high self-esteem. And then, like, after he helped her through that, she left him, and it's like, oh well, yeah, that's normal. And but that's why he does what he does, and it's understandable. I mean, there's a lot of different stories. I mean, RP's got his story, I got my story, and all of them are equally as horrifying.
Yeah, I haven't. I guess I got lucky in that regard. I don't really have any too bad of horror stories. Like hardly any. I mean, I avoided a lot of those situations, And
that would make a great book, as all of us MGTOWs just got together, and it was like the 12-step book has like 5-6 stories in there about individual cases of alcoholism and why this is like it is. I think MGTOW should get together and put together 5, 6, 12 cases of this is what. These are real people with real stories, and this is why MGTOW works for them. See if you can relate.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to write a book instead. Just give examples, and then
you can have your philosophy in the first like 300 pages, or maybe 186 pages. It is the AA book, I think it is, and why they believe what they believe, and then they reinforce it with the stories. And I always thought AA was one of the greatest examples that we and MGTOW should be looking at this thing. We look at it like it's an addiction.
Yeah.
Here's how and then there's some things that I don't agree with on them, like God is my, that stuff and everything. But as far as a successful group that has great group dynamics, that's the way we should model MGTOW after AA. Because we should be having meetings in our areas.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can go to a MGTOW meeting, talk about what happened to you, get that off your chest, be around guys that were like you, but they would never let that they would call that misogyny.
Right.
And their misogyny is actually misandry. They don't understand that. Their misogyny is actually they're being misogynistic. And because anytime you have misogyny is an intuitional feeling. Intuition is always an opinion. If you have an opinion about another gender, that's misogyny.
Yeah.
So, but but AA is a good model program. I'm not saying do it all like that. We can have certain steps. This is the steps we believe in that you should take. Abstinence for your first 60 days. Try to risk reduction, which is harm reduction, and stuff like that, and talk about those things. And we can model certain steps after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And no, it all starts with no. Just start saying no.
Right. You start saying no. Yeah, exactly. If you happen to answer the phone by accident, just say no and just hang up.
Program of empowerment.
Well, that was like one of my. I think I went through a period of about a year where I didn't even talk to anybody. Just kind of, I guess it's called going gold. Or everyone
cut off a lot of those things.
Yeah, and that was like the most peaceful year I've ever had in my life. It was like
that's the MGTOW moment where you see the dying, and then you sit on the park bench for a year.
Yeah, and then people are always trying to get me back into, like, trying to reel me back in.
And always trying to reel you back in, and that's what we're talking about. No, it is an idempotent no item. Item. It's from item, as an item, a singular. Idempotent.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Always going to be a no, unless there's there would be, like I say, 200 miles in a fake ID. Do your thing. Hey, I don't care what people do. Don't share it with it's the same as I don't talk about it. I don't tell about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever rocks your boat after that, but you may start with the going galt thing for a while. Find out your identity. That's what going galt's about. Find out your identity, who you are in life, what you do, what things you need to escape from in this life. You're gonna have to cut strings, and you're gonna find out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. That's deconstruction to reconstruction.
Yeah, like for me, I don't go to bar. I'm very uncomfortable in bars. Like I don't.
If a bar's got good food,
can't be around that phony shit, that phony fake laughing shit, and
I
go people and
for the food, like the wings at this one place. But I always try where no one's gonna be there.
I mean, I get the socialization when people want to socialize. For me, it's just not a good fit for me. It's not a good fit for me to be at a bar anymore, and it's just not. I used to love it, but not anymore. I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the atmosphere.
You're gonna hear those simp stories too. You go into a bar like that old man I was telling you about.
Oh yeah.
He's simping and he's crying, and man, I smashed my beer in my hand, and I was like, I threw it down, and I was like, shut the, you are so immature, and I walked out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, he's on his third relation, whining that he wanted another. He's lost 3 houses in his life. It's like, wow, you are so immature. Grow the fuck up, I said. And that's when I smashed my beer on the table. I was like, bam! And I was like, there was glass everywhere. The barmaid started freaking out. I'm upset looking at an old man, 72 years old, that was acting like a baby.
Yeah, he probably got that from some, like, I don't know, some Alan Alda movie or something.
Yeah, he's listening to some simp movie, and he's he never grew up in his life, and that's where I talk about immaturity. Kant's idea of immaturity.
Yeah,
there are people that are immature that will be immature for the rest of their lives. And I think it's the frat boy thing. They're immature. That's what I'm saying. They're immature bunch of fucking idiots. and they're never going to grow up. And they'll always be blue pill guys. They're always going to be traditional guys because they're so freaking immature. Man, can't let that in my life.
Well, that's like I really like for me, the drinking and
that's so
the drug use and the drinking. I mean, boy, I get it. And when you're young, you want to experiment, but even then, it's stupid because you can cut short your life.
Right. Yeah.
So why? Like to me, it's like a sign of immaturity. I think if you're getting high all the time and
oh God, yeah,
and drinking and doing drugs and acting crazy and even like even having a temper. It's like that's a sign of immaturity right there. Like I mean, I get a little sometimes demonstrative, but I really don't have a huge temper. I mean, once in a while I get upset at stuff, but I don't really, I definitely don't flip out on people like
strangers.
Definitely not. Yeah, right. If it's someone I'm flipping out on, it's to defend somebody or defend myself, or
I'll tell you what. Yeah, you go to bars, them people they'll give you a reason to yell at them. I mean,
oh yeah, I've had a lot of situations where I just had to like these little scrawny guys just like they get drunk and they come at me and I just like laugh, just like that's why I don't, I should be around kind of horseshit.
There's this little guy and he's like karate guy.
Yeah, you're karate. Like these guys, right? You do karate and you think you're going to be tough on the street. No, you're not. Not necessarily.
I kept slapping his hand down and everything, and then I was just laughing. I was drunk and I was slapping his hand down, and I was just like, but he kicked me, and then I side kicked him, I scissor kicked him actually, and I kicked him like so far he went flying over this rail down this cliff.
Yeah, it's because you don't know, like when you're in that situation, you don't know how you're gonna react. But I don't know. It's to me, it's like I just need to be around like positive, like people that have tempers and I just can't be around those kind of people. I just can't. I just can't do
it. He was saying, like, "What are you hitting on my girl?" I was like, "No."
Yeah.
He was one of those simps, and he was like overprotective, and it's like, man, you're gonna run into that, like,
yeah.
If you go to bars, like last summer I went out a little, probably more than I should have, and it just reaffirmed my beliefs that I can't be around those people.
I can't. Yeah, I the people I can be around are people that are walking in the park and enjoying the sunshine and walking their dogs, and those are the people that I like to be around. That's
so trying to schedule. I got to get in this one area where there's a stream, and I want to get down in there one of these good days coming up. I bought the new metal detectors, and I got I've got the equipment, the testing equipment for the rocks and everything. And I just want to get down there so bad and just go over this stream area that I have planned, and like get into the soil, get into the earth, and I got pans, so I start panning a little and looking what I can pull out. Man, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Nothing bad about that day. And people, like, there's always people on the paths, and they'll come walking by and like ask me what I'm doing, and it's like, man.
You rarely see a person that's walking in the park that's like that has a poor countenance. Like 99 out of 100 people walking in the park are smiling and they're happy, and you get that one goofball every now and then that's just
right. There's the Gayhh down there that are always looking for sex too. There is.
Really?
Like,
I don't know. Like in the park?
Yeah, it's like you got to watch it. Like you start talking to someone, and all of a sudden they're giving you code words for it's like, oh shit. It's like, no, mister, I'm not that way.
Wow, I know, that's wow. When I was 18, I think I was 17 or 18. I was working at a grocery store, and there was a guy that he used to always like ask for help, like to find stuff. And then he's like, yeah, if you want to come over someday, you know. I'm like, what are you fucking? I'm like looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What about?
I was like 18. I was confused. I'm like, what's he fucking talking about? I didn't even realize it. Like later, I had to figure it out. Oh, he was trying to hook up with me, and I was like,
trying to hook up with you. Yeah,
I was like, what a fucking creepy motherfucker. And I'm like,
so asexual that I don't know how to. I don't know how to react to that situation. It's like
yeah, that's really weird, man.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I'll never forget his face too, because it creeped me out so much. And then, so when he came in the store again, I just fucking like I had to go. I went in the back, you know, wait till he left, you know. Yeah, so I don't know. Those things happen when you're young. You kind of like you look. It's like, wow, there's a lot of weird. You know,
it's rare. It'll happen like probably as much as I go to the park. I can now I can spot them since I know about it. Before I didn't know about it. So, and it's like MGTOW too, is if you know about things, you can spot things.
I'll tell you what, one of the things that I'm picking up on that's important is just trusting your natural instincts.
Right.
Okay. It's like you have to, like, it's okay to be aggressive. Obviously control your aggression, but if someone's threatening you, you better say something. You better say something, and you better get away from them, or you better fight it. Like, you don't let people overstep their boundaries. That's why we talk about no. Yeah, like that applies not only in a metaphysical way, but in a physical way too. Like people should not be putting their hands on you and being aggressive with you or whatever, right? Like that's not appropriate.
Yeah, no has like 16 different meanings. Learn them all.
Yeah, because it's okay. Trust your natural instincts. It's okay to be. You know, it's okay sometimes to like if someone snaps at you, it's okay to snap back. If that's your, it's okay. You want to diffuse the situation and get away from it. But if they get overly aggressive, then you get overly aggressive with them if you need to. If that's how to protect yourself.
Yeah, that's no, stop, go. When you that's my other theory. No, stop, go is Joe's theory about how to diffuse situations. No, stop, go. Learn how to say that in order and be semi-aggressive, but not you don't want to be harmful, but you want to be semi-aggressive in that situation.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, like don't go against your natural instinct on a lot of things. You can't like you get a vibe on somebody if you just met someone or whatever the case is. Like you have to trust your natural instincts that hey, maybe I should get away from this person.
Right, and I do carry pepper spray and mace in my pocket. It's a blend of pepper spray and mace. It's really cool, and I carry glass knuckles and a knife. Just for I have to.
Like if I'm going to be driving cross country soon. I mean, hey, listen, I'm carrying my Glock in the console in the middle, because I might have to take little naps on the side of the road or whatever, right? I mean, I don't, I'm not saying break any laws here, and this is part of my fictional book I'm writing. But I mean, I'm going to carry that thing because I need protection in case someone wants to get robbed or shit or whatever.
Get a carry permit, personally.
Yeah. Well, I have all those permits. I have everything, but I would just say, you have to trust your instincts and not be so gullible. That's one of the good advice I had. My friend in college, he kept saying that. That was his phrase. Don't be so gullible. Yeah. I was like, who taught you that? He goes, oh, it's my father. Because we were like 18. I was a freshman in college. And this guy was really sharp. He like runs like a bank in Charlotte now. That guy's a fucking multi-gazillionaire. And he's a good dude. And anyway, he was actually thinking about dropping out of college. I convinced him not to, and so he owes me some money. Anyway, but he was telling. He goes, that's my father saying, don't be so gullible. And and it was such good advice back then, right? It's like and it needs to be repeated, not to be so gullible. That's like we see these like life coach. I bring it back to the life coaches thing. Is like they don't have information that's going to change your life. They don't. You don't
trust but verify.
You should have enough observational abilities. Yeah, exactly. Trust but verify. What you said. Yeah. And then you don't need these people to give you this advice and pay them money like $2,000 in Vegas for advice on life coaching whatever they're doing.
But then again, that violates I rarely trust anybody in life because I know human nature, and I'll go back to the book I suggest. Go find out about the dark side of human nature, because everybody is self-motivated.
Right.
that's just the truth about us humans. We are carnivorous. We hunt.
Right. That's the thing. Men need to learn how to do more of that, myself included. Just learn how to hunt and fish, and I mean, we're not supposed to be living in this world where we're paying all these taxes for houses. Like that's like we're going backwards. We're going backwards in the rate.
Society is all screwed up
Right. The Native Americans are probably the most evolved people on the planet, I guess. At least the history I know and was taught, and they lived off the land, and they didn't. They were. And you ever notice, like every Native American that I've interacted with, like they're always like very positive people. They're very humble, like kind of in a good way. And I don't like that word humble, but they're like very, they have high character. It seems to me like there's something about their DNA that they're very peaceful people. I think that has something to do with just how they evolved.
Yeah. You got to think about the way they were taught. They were non-contacted people. They're grounded to the earth on a terrestrial plane.
Right.
And us people that from the West or the East, we carry all this baggage of religion with us, and we're not very well grounded on the terrestrial plane. We're always looking out into the universe for answers, which is, Nietzsche would, if you go into Nietzsche, he's going to tell you that's being anti-human. And Native American people are really grounded to the earth, so you're going to notice that in them.
I notice it. I notice it all the time. All the time. Like I can look back through the years, right? My whole life. Like I've never been around a Native American that's has a temper, or it's always going to be like people my European, like the European background were overly aggressive and whatever, right?
Not authentic.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't make fun of my own race, but it's just true. I mean,
right. I think that plays in a lot with the white man, how the white man is. Well, yes, we are that way. We're very non-authentic. We have these religions we had to deal with. We are the people we were non-contacted people at a certain time, but after society screwed us up for so many years, how do you expect us to act? But MGTOW's about deprogramming all that garbage from yourself too. MGTOW's a very good program on you take the deep introspections against your soul. You say, what part did I play in this, and what I believe that was untrue.
Well, it's in the detaching too. You're detaching from all these material things and all the religion, whatever, right? Relationship, long-term relationships, and
we become more of a terrestrial being, and where you are in contact. You go down to the woods. You like walking in the park. You like freedom is solidarity. Freedom is it's freedom.
Right.
It's exactly what MGTOW is. It's like solitude and freedom are synonymous.
Yeah, no question.
Find yourself. That's all we're saying. From that going moment that you're going to have, and you're going to have that existential answer. Find yourself and take responsibility for those things. Like you need to shed a lot of things. When men are coming into MGTOW, you got to shed that. Men are very toxic. The argument against toxic males is ridiculous because yes, we are. When we're acting like them contacted males, those religious males, we are very toxic. We shed yourself of that and get back to nature. There's a little nice area right there. That's in back of me. It's called the French Creek, and it goes along.
I got some good pictures yesterday. I got some good pictures of the lake, and
yeah, that's just a beauty. And right there in back of that is another. There's little creeks that go into this. Is the creek that goes into that river. And
you gotta do it. You got to get in nature. You're right. It's absolutely. You're missing out on life. You're missing out on life if you're not at least once a week. I mean, I would say probably 2 or 3 times a week makes it even better.
Yeah, you know what the great part about going down there is? There's a little downhill area that I cut into the woods on my bike. And it's like, it's got a vertical drop too that I could just hit. That's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Going back up sucks, but
it's something about it. The energy you get from being in nature. It's just because even like listening to the water hitting the rock, like that noise. Like where are you gonna find? You can't duplicate that type of sound, right? It's like that nice calmness,
Start thinking about what you're doing there, looking at what am I looking at? I'm starting to pan. I'll start panning a little, looking for certain rocks and trying to figure out what's what. I always have my pad on me so I can look up anything on Google. And as I'm doing it now, you got the world of information right in front of you now while you're doing these things. And it could be, I spend 6, 7, 8 hours a day just, fiddling around in the mud and the dirt. Going to
I know.
Flora and the fauna and I said my project this year. What was my project this year down there? Was the beetle, the ash beetle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we had the incident yesterday.
Oh, what happened?
When I tell you the ash trees fall and decompose, and then the whole area smells like a French perfume. That happened. It leached yesterday, and then I got out and I was like, "What is that smell? It smells like laundry detergent." And I couldn't remember. And then it's like, oh, I got up the street, and it was up the street, and it was down the street, and it was everywhere I went. And I was just looking around like someone's got like a heavy perfume on. And then I remember the ash trees are leaching.
I know. Yeah, we got this park here. It's just I put it up against probably anything in the country. I guess that's how, because it's got a green, like looks like it's green, like you know what I mean. It's called Green Lakes.
Green Lake, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like the water looks green, right, from a distance. It's like as you watch, it's like it's so unique. It's such a unique area.
Yeah, they named the lakes that river that you look at the ground. That's the Black River. Can you tell why it's the Black River?
Yeah. It's just an incredible place. It's like magic. It's like a magical place.
Which is a great book if you guys want to read a book about it's fly fishing on the Black River. It's called Black River Dreams. It's a really good book if you're into that sort of stuff. He's a fly fisherman in the Black River, and he's talking about fly fishing, and but he's doing it in an existential way.
Yeah.
That's a really good book. I suggest that one.
Even if you get to like Colorado, like I think the two probably.
Yeah.
I think New York's actually upstate New York is probably up there. Yeah, but Colorado and Utah are like pretty incredible, like scenery.
Yeah, lakes,
Arizona too. But like, that area is those 3 states, and then I think New York's incredible.
Yeah, Johnny Midnight State. They're like they got so many lakes up there that you can just.
Where upstate New York?
No, Minnesota and.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been up there. I'm sure that's nice up there too. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, about whiskey too. Whiskey's like in that area where like the trout fishing and fly fishing are probably just great.
I know we got a place called Pulaski, or I forget. I think it's called Pulaski. They have like the best. They claim they have the best salmon fishing in the country or on the planet. It's like that's how good it is. Like that. Yeah.
We go up to New York all the time for salmon fishing. Me and my brother, my twin brother.
And,
fishing in New York's the best. Ohio's got walleye fishing and like burbot fishing. You go and walleye fishing and like crappie and perch and stuff like that. But we don't have no trout fishing in Ohio because we never fixed our streams. But Michigan's got a lot of trout fishing, and Colorado's got a lot of trout fishing. It's like nice.
You to get away, even if you live in a bigger city where you don't have that stuff. I would recommend getting away, plan a vacation for a week during the year, and then just kind of reconnect that way. If you
several different ways, get in your car and just do that, or like I do my electric bike and just one direction. Sometimes when I start out in the morning, I'll go to the convenience store. And I'll get a couple pops and stuff, and I'll look at my buddy at the convenience store. I'll say, point the direction, and he'll go like that, and I'll just go that way as far as I can.
Yeah. It's an adventure. You could do something different. Like
that's my Buchananism. Kurt Varnick gets Buchanan. Sometimes you just go with the day, wherever it takes you, it takes.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say Kirk Cameron for a second.
Oh, Kirk Cameron. No, I don't. Kirk would be $10.65.
That poor guy. He's just like, I don't know, man. Like, is he possibly that stupid? Do you think he actually believes like the stuff
I
that
think
he
he's so
preaches?
Christian. He's what we used to be. He's that conservative, traditional Christian that believes in fantasy fiction land, and
Yeah.
all he has to do is like just read a little Nietzsche, and Nietzsche will tell him why he's abandoned, why he's not authentic about life, and
Right.
like, and if you talk to me, but he goes to the point of trying to proselyte other people into that fantasy fiction, and that's where I disagree with him. I think he goes on shady methods of proselytization. Now, he was the guy that came up with flirty fishing and in making the movies so they look like action adventure movies. And they have great titles and great pictures on the front, but it's Christian proselytization. And that's why. So again, some people wonder why I'm against Kirk Cameron. And then he was doing the flirty. He had the group that was doing the flirty fishing where they were sending girls out, and then they were sending the girls out, and we lost Joey, but the girls were like, every guy has this experience in life where you meet a girl and you're on her couch and she takes her shirt off and goes, "Do you believe in Jesus?"
Yeah, I lost you for a second. Yeah. Do
you believe in Jesus before I could take my shirt off?
Yeah. The whole Jesus thing. Wow, what a disaster. That whole thing is like so. Like, there's no evidence. That's the whole thing. Like, they have to prove it to us that he existed, and they can't prove any. There's no proof outside of the Bible. It's like
right, and that's an existential crisis that they got to go through. Life is so bad that they abandon reality and they abandon their authenticity. That's
because they don't even see the scam. Like, they make this scam that this is the word of God. It's like, who are you to judge this? And we don't have any evidence outside of this authoritative claim that we made.
Right. You think about what they're really doing with the whole thing is the non-contact people. They want to overtake and run the government, and that's how they do it.
Right. So Kenneth Copeland's worth over $1 billion, and Pat Robertson. Those guys are billionaires.
Yeah, we talked about the Regent College, and the guy was out of that.
Right.
It comes out the psychologist. He supposedly says he's a psychologist, but I don't believe he's a psychologist. Dr. Grande.
That guy, yeah, that autistic guy with the glasses, yeah.
Yeah, sure. He says. And
I'm not trying to make fun of people with autism, but he's obviously has some issues. Like,
he went to Excelsior up in your area, and then he went to Regent College, and that tells me all I need to know about what he's trying to do in Mexico.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know if you heard a guy named L.A. Marzulli, but he had he's another one of these Christian guys, and he had his house got burned down, which I don't even know, the California forest fires, and like within a week, he raised $165,000. Like, this is just a week. I haven't even looked at what he ultimately raised. But that shows you how the incentives that these people have to have those beliefs, right? These Christian leaders, like their incentives. Like, who the hell raises that kind of money that quickly? Like, that's a lot of money, man. Yeah. For he's just a guy, whatever. He writes these books on the Nephilim or whatever, all this crazy, these Christian beliefs and stuff. But that shows you how brainwashed these Christians are, because they have this fantasy about heaven and hell and stuff, and let me give money to this guy, maybe God, I'll find more favor with God or whatever.
What individual God? It's a monolithic God you believe in, it's still a singular God, and they don't really care who they give this Westerness about the Nephilim and stuff. You know what Nephilim were? The larger skulls and the larger, bigger people.
They're probably just taller, bigger people. I don't know.
Well, you know why they were like that? Because of extreme famine, people start eating people.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
People that eat people. If you look at the lions in India,
because nutrition, the nutrition in
our bodies.
Probably. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
It's a non-hormonal block. Then what are the growth hormones? humans have a lot of growth hormones in them. When you digest those growth hormones, you can take a child and start feeding him on human meat, and he'll be like 8 feet tall.
Right. It makes sense. It makes sense because the human body is the most nutritious body on the planet because we're most evolved. We're the most evolved, and yeah.
It's been proven. The lions in India that were eating the humans, they made a movie about it.
Yeah,
they were 3 times the size of regular lions because they were eating humans.
Right, because that makes sense. That makes sense, and then the DNA kind of evolves, or
yeah. So nothing. We're just cannibalistic people.
Right, but that's a terrible thing to eat your own species. You're supposed to be a tribe and work together, and we're the most evolved apex predator, and yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense what you just said. I was trying to figure.
You do the research on it. I have already done and simplified it for everybody. When I say these things, you could do the research on it if you want.
Yeah.
You'll come back to the same conclusion I did. If you after looking at the bacterial, biological, scientific facts and everything of it, it's just people were bigger in these certain areas, and there are very few of them. That way, we find very few bones, and they'll grow 8 feet tall because they were eating other human beings.
which I guess they did out of. I don't know. Well, I think they did it probably out of like to have stronger DNA or whatever, and
the hormone growth would be a mechanism, would be shortly lived.
Yeah, that makes sense because they want to. It's almost like you're preserving you're making a race of these super beings or whatever you want to call them, and so they can control the communities better, I guess. Or I don't know. Like, yes, that's like very barbaric, right? Like we look at that as very barbaric, and then because you can get it. Well, they probably lived longer too. That's why they probably lived longer because they had stronger, more nutrition in their body, right?
More nutrition, better nutrition. Human meat is very good
right.
It's probably, I don't suggest cannibalism, but
no, absolutely not.
You want to raise a little football player?
Yeah, right. Just you can get enough because you can get it. It may not live as long or whatever, but you're going to have still good. There's enough nutrition in nature through the animals, through other, through.
That's why I always do my joke. If the post-apocalyptic world comes to us all and everything, I tell everybody I'm just going to become a cannibal.
Yeah.
I'm not going through the whole.
It makes sense though what you just said. It makes sense how that's how they developed those bone structures or whatever. And
bigger, and
I wonder how that changed. Hey, because you see this architecture too. I don't know if you've seen some of the architecture. John Levy, you ever hear that guy?
I think so. Yeah, I think I read something he wrote. I can't remember. Maybe it was.
He does videos. I don't know if he might write a little bit. Livi. He writes a lot, but he has these videos where he got these big doors. Like they have these like architecture was a lot different. Like it was more evolved, and they have like these big entrances to these buildings. There's like 2 entrances. There's so these big doors are for like these taller like 12 feet guys or whatever. And then they got like smaller entrances.
Yeah, once a year,
like within the same door.
Once a year, I can't remember the name of the festival with the Muslims, and they have the 2 big doors they open.
Okay, yeah, right. Those doors were probably legitimate doors that they had from.
Now, when we look at
people,
early Muslims, we can see cannibalism was present at that time because of the big red-haired people. There were large red-haired people.
I saw a video about that today. Levy did a video on that today. They I guess the soldiers, I forget what war it was. They claimed they saw this Bigfoot red-headed guy come out of a cave or some shit. I don't know if it's real. I don't know.
Now that goes back to when Muhammad was he flew a unicorn to whatever, but there was a lot of cannibalism back there too. So which they don't talk about, they implicate, but they don't talk about. And the big doors were a reference to that because he was guarding this area that had the 2 big doors, and then the relics of idolatry were in there.
Yeah, I wonder who stopped all that stuff. I mean, I would assume it's still
idolatry, and they worship these big people.
Right, that makes sense.
People that were eating other people.
Well, I would think this stuff still goes on, but it's just kept under ground more. But it's obviously not acceptable in the communities we live in. Thankfully.
No, that's that's why we have sociology, so we can develop we have these sociological rules, which I talk about, and Durkheim was the father of sociology. And so we can develop these ways to live together and everything, but we veered a lot from the reality of a lot of things.
Well, yeah, and like organ harvesting, like that's a real thing, like organ harvesting.
We are still cannibals
that's nutrition because it's nutritious. Like the organs are nutritious stuff, right? Or I don't know if they use it for
right. Well,
they use it to eat it because it's healthy.
If you're rich enough, you can buy a whole new body. I can get the innards of a 16-year-old Brazilian girl inside of me.
That's. Yeah, it's just these people are not evolved. Like they're not. I don't know. They're like you would say they're not evolved, but are they? I don't know. Like to me, that's like a evil thing to do. I don't know. Like I would get really angry, right? If like someone was like, if my neighbors were getting eaten or something. I was like, we're going to fucking war on this. We're going to war on this one. Someone's gonna get killed. Someone's gonna get shot.
Can I duck out for a second? I have to check.
Oh yeah.
Not Walgreens, Walmart box is coming today. My food.
I'll talk about Claire.
It'll just take me a second to.
No problem.
And look.
Yes, we'll talk about Claire and her knife sharpening ideas. Yes, but yeah, there's some good websites out there about that. John Levy is I would recommend that channel. Levi. He talks a lot about the architecture and how it's kind of devolved over the years. And he also talked about electric vehicles, how they've existed a lot longer than we've been told. They actually have, those electric vehicles have existed, or they've had batteries that were used for electric cars. Like I want to say 100 years ago or. So they have they have all this technology that kind of. I don't know if you saw that, Joe. John Levy had a video he did.
Yeah, I think
about the electric cars, like how they've always had that technology. So it's nothing new.
Automobile it was an electric car, and it was 18.
Right, and the battery. He showed how the battery was like really like built like really well, like compared to the pieces of shit plastic batteries they have now.
He had the NiCad battery back then. I think it was the same as your alkaline or your NiCad.
But my stock buddy was telling me that EV, anything involved with EV automobiles are going to be that's going to be one of the bigger stock plays. Like he likes cryptos now too, that Coinbase and Ethereum.
Good idea.
He's back on that, and I sold a lot of my oil stock. I did okay on those. What's that?
Want me to do an unboxing?
Oh yeah, go ahead. What you gotta do? Yeah.
Ooh, allergy.
Yeah.
Allegra.
Yeah, it's Allegra. Yeah. I think I used to say that Allegra. Clarinex. Excuse me. Yeah, I just hiccuped the other.
That was my medication.
Pharmaceutical. Like, people make fun of it, and a lot of their products are bullshit. Like the statin drugs, the cholesterol drugs are bullshit because your body actually needs cholesterol. You actually want your cholesterol to be high.
Yeah, Plavix, Plavix is no different than taking a single aspirin a day. There's no difference between. So I just use single aspirin instead of Plavix.
But the pharmaceutical, I would say, big picture, I think they still do more good than bad. Actually, in a weird. People might disagree with that, but because if you're hospitalized, sometimes you just need drugs to live, man. You need something to pump your body up and
I say
chemical. I'm not saying long term. Maybe it's not good long term, but
even
they still do a lot of good. They still do a lot of good. That industry. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Right. If you can get the opiates under control and get them prescribed and regulated to the people that need the opiates are great. You can even like mental illness and opiates. They don't give opiates to people that are mentally ill because they automatically associate them with addiction. But but they're great for relieving that stress and extending the life periods and bringing them down to reality.
Yeah.
But you can't. We got so many addicts. I mean, there are people out there snorting that stuff and paying $30 a pop for a single pill. That makes it also advantageous to corruption and racketeering.
Yeah.
I mean, even drugs. Most of the psych medications were developed from acid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But well,
I tell you what, they make a lot of.
Are you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You muted yourself.
Yeah. No, I was just saying a lot of products that these we always joke around about the Illuminati, but
the Illuminati.
I'm just saying it as a joke. Because I don't really like I don't believe in that kind of garbage anyway. But they were like so they make a lot of these rich people. I would just call them rich people. They make money on waste products, right? So they take a waste product and they turn it into an actual product so they can. So they're making money on waste, right?
Right. Most of the with most of the psych medications and everything, there's they tried them out on unsuspecting mentally ill people and looked for what positive side effects that were some of those turned into blood pressure medicines. Some of those turned into other medicines. They found out that it eventually killed this guy, but look what it did for his blood. And for
the cholesterol meds, the cholesterol meds were originally. They were trying to find a erectile dysfunction drug, right? And then the side effect was lowering. No, that's what it was. No, they were trying to find these cholesterol lowering drugs, which are not good because your body needs cholesterol, so you shouldn't be trying to lower it anyway. But so these cholesterol lowering drugs, some of them got they were able to cause erections, right? And so they took the same thing and they made it into an erection drug.
Yeah, and look at the beta blockers. The beta blockers were originally used on the mentally ill, and then they found out, well, this is a beta blocker. This is a calcium reducer. It's
right. It's all bullshit. Yeah, those products are bullshit.
Yeah, and they didn't care about how many people they killed.
Right. Cholesterol drugs are the worst. Heart disease. I listened to a lecturer say, so heart disease didn't even start developing until the 1920s. So what does that tell you? That tells you a lot about the diet, right? How it changed.
Right. We veered from the three components that made us healthy to other diets, because when you think about the history of nitrogens and the history of ammonium nitrates and how we developed as we weren't able to sustain this world right now's food needs because we can develop ammonium nitrates so we can grow the crops. Well, back then they didn't have the ammonium nitrates. It had to be a more natural diet.
Yeah.
The Haber-Bosch effect was the original ammonium nitrate factory.
Well, it was the hunting and fishing thing too. Hunting and fishing back then, people had good foods to eat, and they weren't eating all these processed foods and Oreo cookies and canned goods and all this kind of stuff, right? No good.
Had higher fish diets like Scandinavians and those with the salmon and the diets and everything that generally didn't have Alzheimer's disease. But
right, people trust the government too much, man. These canned goods are no good. They're no good. Canned goods are no good. Stop eating canned goods. They're just not good for you. They're not.
You know what I found out this week, last week, 2 weeks ago, actually, 3 weeks maybe ago, that my insurance policy asked me if they were gonna, for something they do during the corona, is they're gonna sell on a 16-day healthy diet for me. So they sent me a couple boxes of food. And then I realized as I'm going through this stuff that I eat healthier than they sent me.
Yeah, of course. If you eat that marble steak, and actually that's the good. You want the marble steak and cook it rare or medium rare if you have to. If you can eat it raw, it's probably better. But if you can, I go rare or medium rare.
Yeah, they sent me these cans of tuna and stuff, and I was thinking this got mercury in it, and there was a can
right.
of chili.
Got the aluminum. The aluminum too from the can.
Right, this high in fat, and it's in a can, and I never eat this stuff. And then the only thing that was really good was the 350 calorie frozen. They're frozen dinners. They sent me like 30 of these things.
Oh boy, yeah.
I put them all in my freezer because they're 350 calories and they're good for lunch and stuff and everything. But short of that, the other stuff was like really shit. And I was like, man, I as a MGTOW, I eat better than this. I mean, I eat more natural, and I examine my food before I put it in my cart and stuff like that. It's like, wow.
If you can get to a local farm that has raw milk and raw cheeses, and
I wish
that stuff's good, very nutritious for you.
There is a place 5 miles up that I can buy raw milk.
Yeah,
but it's like, my bike, I have to pedal 10 miles and then get there, and then there's a big thing, and then I got to come home, I got to pasteurize it, separate it from my cream, and then I have been wanting to make my own cheese. I bought all the stuff for cheese making lately.
Yeah, if you can do that, like try to get the raw milk. But the thing is, if you ever get really sick, one of the best hacks is there's a couple. Well, obviously the sun is a good hack, but another one is raw eggs.
Raw eggs, yeah.
There's documentation on that. People eating raw, like pretty much getting rid of a lot of serious disease, like eating raw eggs, because there's so much nutrition in the raw, or not, yeah, the eggs, yeah, the raw, eat them raw, right? There's so much nutrition in it.
My buddy came over the other day, and I had all my
nutrients, I should say,
mushrooms up on the windowsill and turned up so they collect the vitamin C into the D into the mushrooms. You just turn them upside down and put them on your windowsill for a day, and it increases the vitamin D to like 3,000.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I don't know if mushrooms are good for you, but yeah, anything with if you can get that sunlight.
Yeah. So, but the inside of the mushroom collects vitamin D, and then if you're going to eat mushrooms, do that. Put them in your windowsill for a day. But he comes over and he's looking around my house and he's like, Joe, what the F? You got mushrooms all over your windows.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Like, they're like how, like I said, heart disease. Like I think 700,000 people a year die of heart disease. I mean, they're killing us. I was joking, Illuminati. The Illuminati. They're killing us on.
Yeah, they're killing us.
They're killing us on really food more than anything. I believe that. There's a lot of ways they're doing it, but food is definitely one of the top ones because
it's not. Living in a food desert it's hard to get.
Look at all the bad food, Joe. You go to the supermarket, look at all the bad food. Yeah. You know what I do now? I just pretty much buy eggs. I buy raw cheeses if I can find them, and I buy meats, and that's it. I don't buy anything else.
Yeah, I have to really
clams, maybe.
It's once I find something that I like and I can eat, and it's good for you and everything. It's like I have to stick with that, and it's not a very wide diet. Like if I lived in Cleveland or like somewhere where they have a port and they're bringing in stuff, it'd be easier to eat better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard sometimes. I know for guys, you go to your local market and it's like, wow, I'm very limited in what I can eat.
Yeah.
You'll figure your way through that,
Yeah, because the fruits and vegetables. I mean, people. I'm not going to say anything controversial, but do more research on the fruits and vegetables, and you'll come to a conclusion that they're really not good for you. But
vitamin C, and you can get that I keep ascorbic acid around in packages, so I add that to my drinks and everything, and that's vitamin C. And there's one pepper products, like those little peppers, the sweet little peppers. You can eat those in place of a snack at night because they get really high in vitamin C and low in calories.
I love that raw cheese. That's my snack now. Is the raw cheese. Raw cheese. Yeah, raw milk cheese. I cut it up and
you can make it,
and I can digest it really well because it's not pasteurized. I can digest it, and it's satisfying. It's you're gonna maybe put on some weight if you eat too much of it, but who cares? The weight's not really a big deal. It's more just trying to get that nutrition in your body. My blood pressure is like perfect now, and blood sugar is way down. I just pretty much stay away from carbs and sugars and salt.
Yeah,
salt.
I wish I could stay away from sugar.
Yeah, if you can get away from that shit, that's that's the thing that wasn't found in the diet in the early 1900s. You didn't have sugar. Sugar wasn't a big part of the diet. Carbs, like pasta, is like so bad for you.
This was $25.
But I feel so much better. You can tell is like, pay attention to your gut. Like, how does your gut feel after you eat these foods? And if it's uneasy all the time, then there's something wrong there. Or if you got too much gas, having to use the restroom too much. That's another thing too for me, Joe. Is like no carbs, no sugar. Like I don't have to urinate at night. Like when I sleep, I just sleep right through the night now. So it's already my lifestyle quality of life has gone way up now. Like because I don't have to go to bed, get up and every 2 or 3 times and go use the rest. So there's a lot of ways to to live a better life, right? Like
yeah. Do you have allergies around this time of year?
Yeah, I usually do, but I haven't had anything lately.
It's been really bad for me this year. Every 7 years or something, your allergy cycle changes. But this year is like, man, my eyes are burning out of my head every time I go outside.
I used to get that from dogs and cats.
Yeah. So I bought these $25.
Yeah, it's good. It's you just got to pay attention to your body, right? That's how you.
Yeah, because say what I believe mind, body, soul thing. And it started off as a girls' healthcare program for cancer survivors, but mind, body, and soul. I had a friend of mine explain it to me. She says, "Joe, you just got to look. None of us, men especially, we won't take the time to stop and try to feel our bodies, feel what's wrong."
Right, like ice cream. If I eat ice cream, I feel like shit. I mean, it's because all that sugar and yeah, it tastes good maybe for that 10 minutes I'm eating it, but afterwards, I mean, do I really want to feel like garbage the rest of the day?
Yeah,
and have to use the restroom, and no, forget it. I'm done. I just don't need it.
I got the exact opposite. I have to. That's why I drink coffee with sugar, because in the morning I have to raise my my blood sugar. So a couple teaspoons of coffee and with my coffee and
my uncle's got one of those cappuccino machines, like a $2,000 machine.
Yeah, I got it.
It's like drinking. It's like drink. I've never done cocaine, but it's like drinking cocaine. I'm like, it's so strong. It's so strong, like bouncing off the walls. Like
I bought a brand new one just a little while ago. I overspent on it, but it's like it was used, but it was not used. It was like there was a couple parts missing, so I just put the parts on, and I got it for a really good price. And it's like makes delicious cappuccino. Matter of fact, that's what I was drinking earlier.
They're expensive, man. It has 100. I think he told me 140 pounds of pressure, 160 pounds.
Yeah, it goes
about crazy.
12 to 10 to 15 bar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so solid. He showed me it's like a solid. Like it's almost like you can't break the coffee, like the beans, the residue.
Yeah.
It's like a solid. It's like it's so much pressure that his machine generates that it's like rock. It's like how you have coffee and the residue falls apart when you pinch it or whatever. Like no, it doesn't do it. It doesn't.
There's a real difference in taste from making yourself a good cappuccino with a good cappuccino machine. Right. You're doing is you're cracking the molecular structure with the steam and it's getting everything out of it, and it's like really good.
Well, the Italian diet has got to be one of the worst diets ever. Like think about it.
The Mediterranean diet is the best diet in the world.
Well, Italians though, with the pasta and the pizza and the pastry, I mean, shit, man, that's not really healthy stuff.
Yeah,
it tastes good, but
if you're going with this stuff, but
really
like noodles with like an olive oil and like a low-fat chicken and like something like that and some vegetables in it, then you're doing pretty good.
I don't know.
Well, you can't eat noodles. That's the thing.
I mean,
So you're going to develop a
Well,
bias.
you sound like that. My uncle's saying the same thing you were, but I don't know. I just don't. I'm getting different information, and that's kind of working for me. Where that stuff is not really healthy for me. Like the low fat, like your body wants saturated fats. Like,
Yeah,
right?
your body's different than everybody else's. You have sugar problems, and you have to pay attention to that. So obviously, you can't eat what some people can eat. Now, for me,
but I'll live longer than these other people. I think of like following my diet. Like it's
well, it depends how you adjust your diet for your specific body type, and
yeah.
Well,
I think everyone's a little different, but I don't think the idea behind plants and vegetables is that they're okay. So they have to defend themselves in nature. These fruits and vegetables. First of all, they're man-made, but second of all, they have to defend themselves in nature. So how they do it is they build in toxins into their beings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your digestive system, if not to those, if you're switching from an all meat diet to a vegetarian diet, you can develop really, really huge physical problems because your body's not used to the digestive system's not used to digesting that kind of food, and Wilson's disease or something like that, and so there's just a few I can't go over in my head right now because it would take too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to be careful when you adjust your diet.
Yeah. It's working for me now. It's working for me because my blood pressure is perfect.
I look at like what origins. You can look at your family history. Where do I come from? What do I do? And
that's the thing. My mother's side, they had all these. They had the cows, and they were milking cows, and so their DNA was probably better than even my father's. They were more workers, and they had farms too, but they were. I think my mother's side might have had better food. Like that's what I'm thinking, because my father's side was more with the vegetables.
Yeah,
pastas.
I adjust my diet. I do. Irish, what an Irish diet would look like, and
potatoes, right? Bigger potatoes, right?
Well, I can include potatoes, and that's kind of a pun for Irish people too. But fish and stuff like that, and preserved meats and stuff like that, and I'm probably okay with that. But you have to do your own family genetics too.
Yeah, that's probably true. As long as we're not eating, what these tall people were eating. That's interesting how you brought that up, because I was like trying to figure it out. But yeah, that makes sense that they were eating.
Don't eat human meat.
That's crazy. That just pisses me off when I think about it, because we're supposed to all stick together and be like a tribe of as a species and subdue animals. The animals are there for us to eat, and like we're fighting against each other like a bunch of savages. We should not be fighting each other.
Yeah, I mean, I
because of our skin color or other horse shit,
More naturally, people should start raising chickens in their own houses and their yards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my uncles. That's the guineas out there. That's what they do. They got rabbits and chickens, and they get a knife and they fucking cut them up, and that's what they do. That's the shit they're still doing. It. These old school guineas from Italy. That's what they do. They don't fuck around.
Just this week, I cut my grass, and then I took all that grass and I dumped it in back. If that's enough for a goat, to feed a goat, or maybe something. If I had a bigger yard, maybe you need 1/3 of an acre of straw to feed a cow. But man, we got to start thinking about like our society more like the Cubans think about their society. They evolved to everybody raises their chickens in their house. They don't cut their grass. They use the grass to feed the animals, and they keep it very natural.
Exactly. And like even my grandfather, when he came from Italy, he had a bunch of pigs that he brought. And what do? Fucking neighbors call the police.
Yeah.
Call the police. He's got pigs in the backyard.
The neighbors go die because everybody. Then if you had goat and you're milking a goat, you can make feta cheeses and cheeses like that, and it's really good for you. But people, it's the Russian saying, "My neighbor's goat must die." Well, that has a whole philosophical construct, and back of that, when you live in a community, everybody's going to buy their milk from the store, so everybody's milk prices drop. And if some guys are doing their own, then that makes the milk prices rise. It's like, but if we're going to do that kind of thinking and communal thinking, like, shouldn't we be thinking about, okay, well, yeah, some people would require goat's milk. Some people would, they don't think of everybody.
Yeah, they get greedy. They get greedy.
The one processor becomes that becomes what everybody does. And that takes away so much individuality. But
yeah, we got to get away from this traditional conservative horseshit. That's
and
it's really hurting everything. Like, cause they want to have all these reserves for their family. Oh, I got my grandkids, and my grandkids got to eat, and and.
You ever watch them cut the grass on the highways, in the middle of the highways?
Dangerously, I see them, and it's like I cringe.
They're cutting that grass every single day in every highway in America. And then they're just throwing that grass away. And that grass, it could become alcohols, it could become grains, it could become everything. And as we shift towards electric cars and electric vehicles, them areas could easily become farmland areas for the community where they can, use that grains for, feeding your own livestock. Stuff like that can be easily inserted into our society as a norm. But like, they're using gas motors out there that cut grass that has been saturated with carbon products from cars, and it's just
pollution and all the pollution you get with that.
Why we want to move towards electric products. I can see it because I use an electric product, my bike, every day, and it doesn't inhibit my movement. The interstates will become like farming grounds for there's just tons of room, and on the sides, and even down the street, it's just a little rural highway up the street. I watch them cut the grass on there. I asked him one day, what do you do with that grass? And he says, well, we just dump it. And I said, well, that grass can go to a granary for making alcohol products, so we can use more alcohol in our motor vehicles. I mean, you could run your tractor on what it takes to a more cleaner, more environmentally friendly alcohol gasoline you can make out of the grass you're cutting. Did you ever think about that? I was like,
yeah,
it's like, but we still live in this baby society where we have these baby capitalists thinking about what's good for them.
Yeah, taxing people to death,
like, so they can it's like, wow. It's
the Spurgs too. It's the Spurgs that are running. They're pretty much the Spurgs are running things.
Yeah, that's the dark side of human nature. Once you start looking at
dark revelations, that's a dark revelation. That's
we need more enlightened people. And I'm not an anti-wind power. I'd like to see every house with if we put a windmill, a 3,000, like a 4,000 watt or 400 watt windmill on the top of every house, which would take about nothing. I mean, we can generate so much electricity that we could all have electric cars.
I know.
Let's start thinking about our society. And in the future, I'm not going to be around, but my children's children are going to have to see the horror of our We're
going backwards.
Yeah, Greta is right, but how she does it is wrong.
Yeah, we're going backwards. There's no question. And it's all from traditional, not all of it, but a lot of it's from the traditional conservative thinking.
Because eventually they're going to have to start MGTOW thinking just for the benefits of population reduction.
Yeah, well, they're doing it now. Like I said, the heart disease thing. Look at the numbers.
We're doing it now.
They're doing it with the foods. Yeah, and not only do people live less, they live shorter lifespan, but they feel like shit. They feel like garbage. It's like you know what I'm saying? Those foods are not healthy.
Brave new world's right around the corner if we don't fix this stuff. Of course, my genes, I'm so fucking pretty. Desirable.
Yeah. I know, me too. It's like I don't even have any children. It's like what a waste of DNA, Like,
yeah, you do. You probably got 2 or 3 of them running around.
Maybe in Puerto Rico somewhere.
In college, you never hit something bareback and thought and worried about like her coming back, and she never came back. But there might be a little Joey running around. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just really honest with my last two kids about what I wanted. And I know there's other little Joeys running around, but I was just really honest about that with myself.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. Like, you're supposed to have I don't know. I guess you're supposed to spread DNA if you've got strong DNA. Right?
There's many ways to spread your DNA, and
but I got to look into that whole thing with these taller beings.
Yeah, look into first. Look into the African lions that were. There's a movie about it. You can look into it that direction and read the story.
Oh, okay. They were killing humans. Lions were killing.
Yeah, human meat, and then you can look and just try to find the truth about that, about a large Nephilim, and you can get biological studies about the hormones inside of human meat and why we shouldn't eat human meat. You can get a site. I used to get that stuff sent to me all the time. They stopped sending the fatherhood things, I think, this week. It was like so relieving.
Oh, they did, yeah. That guy, he got wind that you were against them.
Yeah, they got wind that I'm the anti-fatherhood guy. So every day I was getting saturated with all these authors. Like they're like, okay, here's to prove fatherhood, and here's to prove fatherhood. And it was going on for a month, and none of them. I read every single one of them. Every morning I get up and I read, and it was like none of them. They were all like, they had all started off with the fact that fatherhood is real because I say so.
Yeah.
It's like
that Kevin Samuels guy. Did you ever see that guy? Kevin, life coach?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't think Kevin. What does he say?
Yeah, he was just talking to these chicks about. I said like telling a story about that. Oh, just go back to the husband, the guy you got pregnant with. Like she's trying to find true love.
Oh yeah, she's trying to find true love and everything. But it's natural for females to do that. That's a sexual cryptness. Now, there's two things, and I want to explain this to you guys. If you look up sexual cryptsis, it's SIS, and that's the biological study of the female. But sexual cryptis, TIS, will take you to female choice, and that's how they try to confuse you about these two things. Most people don't know the difference between female choice and sexual cryptsis, which is the biological study of females generally. It has a little overview of female choice, but it has a bigger overview of they want support from the community, and they hide their cryptosis is they hide their fertility from the males for a reason. So don't get caught up with the MRA. The MRA can't seem to get off the idea of sexual cryptis, which is female choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're dick brains, and you're looking for sexual cryptis.
I just found it odd that he was like everything was about her. You know what I mean? It was nothing, like no consideration. Does the guy even want to take her back? It was like no, you gotta go back. Why don't you go back to the guy? Go back to the first guy. The husband. Like go back to the husband. Like as if he should just take her back because she says so.
Right.
Like it was there was no acknowledgement of what he thought.
Right. That's the man up thing. He'll man up. He'll do what
right
society wants from him. He'll be the father because that's what society predicts for him.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing too that was disturbing, he was just talking about how that's the way life is like you have these responsibilities now and you have
natural
family. Yeah, it's like you don't even know who you are as a person. It's all about the family. It's like you're sacrificing your whole kind of soul, if you want to call it that, your whole like who you are as a person. You're sacrificing it for your family, and it's like you never discover who you are and what you want out of life. Everything's about sacrificing everything for the sake of having security, having a house, or you know what I'm saying, and all this like bullshit material shit.
Right. The anti-religious guy. What was his name that we were listening to for a while?
Anti-religious guy. Jeffrey Doherty.
Yeah, Jeffrey Doherty. He does naturalism in that way too, and he caves to conservatism.
Right. He does. He's getting better. He's getting away from that because he's getting anti-Trump, which is good.
Right. He doesn't know. He does conservative bulk at a certain point where he doesn't take it farther, where he balks at that position, and then he does naturalism, like this is the way we're supposed to be. No, I would tell him to read a little Nietzsche, and
yeah, he's a really smart guy though. He would actually listen to you and read it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a specific chapter in a specific book that I'd like to present to him and say, no, you can't fall back on naturalism like that because it isn't natural. The default position of the male is to be asexual.
Yeah,
it's your duty, and that, like Kant would tell you, is your duty to do that. No, it's not your duty. That's where we start getting screwed up on what is your social duties and everything. And they would say, oh, your social duty is to man up and be the father.
Right.
Just because we made it up. No, that's not. And they will say that's natural, but that's turning away from all things that are authentic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, because they got to tax people.
Yeah, they have to tax people. You have to live in a society where we don't, and that's so silly. The only reason why we're taxing people, so the better people can live better.
Right. They want to live off of our labor.
Like heaven is. I always say it jokingly. Christian heaven is everybody has more money than everybody else.
Yeah.
And they get to live better than you. They get to live in those ivory buildings, and they get to go to work with lighter than air jobs and pretend like they're authoritarian. Yeah, that's the people we need to get rid of. Sooth is in here today. Sooth had there was a name for in English culture or something where the Sue said it one day, and I can never remember what they called these people that the people that are in the government, and then their children go to become government agents, and those children become government, and it just becomes about family situations and everything in there. Sooth mentioned it one day, and I was remember if you remember what he called it. It was just we were talking about it one day.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy, huh?
Yeah, I like Sooth. It's like but there's a name for it. He nailed it, and I was going to write it down on my hand so I remembered it, what he called it, and I was like, I forgot it, and then nobody can remember what the ism about that was.
Probably clarism.
Clarism.
Or it could be Joyce.
Joyceism.
Well, I was thinking about Joyce the other day too. Like, so Joyce stole, I guess, $20,000 from Vention, and he's making. But here's the thing: how much of an idiot she is like all she had to do was be nice to Vention, and she probably would have got like $100,000 worth of value out of him, right? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, Joyce said, somebody showed up around his house real quickly. Oh, it was Hammerhand, because you can see his father's going to die, and his sister's not going to be around. So who is he going to give his money to? It's like all these MGTOWs start showing up. It's like, I'll be your best buddy.
Yeah, that's father's dying. What are you going to do?
It's like that is so. But that shows you the dark side of human nature.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Something for nothing. Bait and switch. Something for nothing. They want.
As you start dying, you're gonna have a lot of friends, Ben.
Oh yeah. Of course. That's why you go ghost, and you don't. Like my Uncle Joe, man. He knew a lot of guys. Put it that way. But he always told me no exposure. He says,
could you do something like that? I could never do something like that. Take advantage of another human.
No.
We see this quality in nursing, the nurse comes
nursing homes. Yeah.
They try to be the best, so they can get the inheritance from the old person.
Right.
And they take advantage. There's people out there that do this. That I have to do a psychological overview of that someday. What kind of habits these people have, and
a lot of them, I hate to say, a lot of them are Christians because
they're predatory.
Forgiven. I'm forgiven for my sins. No accountability. That's what Christianity is ultimately. Is no accountability.
Mm-hmm.
They can just have this default position of I'm forgiven for my.
Yeah, they can go weekly and go get forgiven.
And get forgiven. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me a really bad person.
Yeah, you're right. That's the way people are. They start coming around when. Yeah, No, but I remember my Uncle Joe was telling me, he says no exposure. He says, that's what you don't want to be peacocking. RP says peacocking.
Peacocking.
You don't want to be that guy. Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy driving that. You're driving the only Cadillac in town. Or whatever.
Yeah. That's what Problem Invention did. He peacocked a little there, and
he peacocked a little bit on his videos. I'm just
predatorial MGTOWs will start coming around.
Right. Yeah, and then Joyce, whatever the fuck she did. I mean,
yeah, and if you leave an inheritance for a sister, that wouldn't be beyond my comprehension of a good thing to do. I mean, you take care of family first. He obviously has no kids, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard to determine in that kind of situation what he'd do. It's like
yeah.
Pick a charity or something, or make sure your dad's taken care of after you leave.
Yeah. Hope he gets. I don't know how he's doing now with the cancer, but hopefully he's doing
my mentorship. If there's a young man that he mentors and teaches them how to fix diesel engines and stuff like that, that would be the best place for that money to go. If he was involving himself, and I don't think he believes in mentorship.
No, he believes in Richard Branson in Cambodia.
Yeah, Cambodia. But that's
these guys cracking me up. These guys that are expats or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, if you're that hungry and thirsty, like, believe me, there's enough action in the United States and in your community to get action. You don't have to go to Cambodia to find it, or Laos, or wherever the fuck they go to, or fucking Brazil, or wherever the fuck these hedonistic fucking areas are. Like, there's enough shit going on in your own fucking backyard.
Yeah, right in the backyard. In the last 2 months here, I live in a kind of rural area. 2 strippers walked up. I don't know if there's a stripper bar. My driveway and tried to. And it's like that's why I say the patron saint of strippers, because they find me. And then there's plenty of chicken heads in this area where you don't have to go to Cambodia to get that, really.
No, just right. You can drive, like you said, 200 miles in a fake ID. But I'm at the point now. I'm just so sick of everything. I don't know. I'm just sick of all these fucking hoes. Like, I'm done. Like, I don't know. Like, they bring no value. They all they do is take. All they do is they don't bring one bit of value. Like, not one. I can't think of one thing that they bring.
Well, a stripper, if you can make her into your masseuse.
Yeah. Yeah. They got good. They can move their hips well. I mean,
you just rub my back and get in those.
Yeah, they're just so useless. They're just and they're nasty. They're getting nastier every single year.
Yeah,
nasty. But like the chicks I see like at the park are generally more positive, but even them, they're nasty too. But
they're just happier and just mostly better to be around. There's interesting.
Right. You can actually find some people that are at least a little more positive, and you don't have to worry about dark revelations at night. And
I don't know if I'm out in the woods and doing my rocks and stuff, and someone comes by and they want to know about it, and we get into conflict. I don't have to worry about that person stealing my money. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Coming to my house and wanting to marry me and steal all my assets. No, I don't think that's going to happen. That's unreasonable.
I mean, you see some of these people gosh, they got that countenance that it's like, oh man, I don't even, just get the hell away from me. It's like, I don't even want to converse with you. I don't want.
Yeah, the people I worry about are the people that actually do come to my house.
Yeah, right. The ring. I never answer the door for anybody. Last 10 years, I've answered the door maybe once. I was expecting a package or something. Yeah, don't answer the door. That's part of that no thing. Don't answer the door. You don't have to. Definitely don't answer a phone number that you don't recognize.
Yeah.
Right?
I had that stripper incident. It didn't come to my house. What happened is someone beat a stripper up on the street right here.
Yeah, sure.
Like I went out to say, hey, do you need me to call you an Uber to get you home, or are you hurt? Do I need to call the police?
Well, the worst is when you see a chick with like a black eye, you know, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened. Both the strippers got beat up and kicked out of the houses, which is telltale in itself. And
Wow.
and it's like I guess there's a large you can call strippers around here, and it's like she's walking down the street. She fell in front of the house here, and all her shit went all over the place. The stripper bag emptied onto the sidewalk. And,
Oh shit.
and which is funny in itself. And then I was just sitting there drinking my coffee, going, "Oh shit." It's like I gotta see if she's okay.
So you helped her out and whatever.
Yeah, I called an Uber for the second one after I gave her a cup of tea and called her an Uber and made sure she was physically able to continue.
Wow.
It's like
I see them sometimes like carting out luggage when I live in the bigger cities. Like they used to cart the luggage.
Yeah.
Like they had to be a stripper, right? If you see a hot chick with a luggage,
they got the little bags with the wheels, yeah.
Yeah, the bags with the wheels, and they're fairly attractive. They have to be a stripper.
Yeah, a stripper. You could usually tell with the clothes. And the first one that came up was definitely she pulled her, and she had the stripper band on still.
Yeah.
The dollars in, and she was trying to take that off. And I was like, she just got beat up by a couple guys down there. And I was like, I was just shaking my head. My buddy was over that day, and he goes, "She's a stripper." And I says, "I know."
God, what's the psyche behind a stripper? Like, how does it, like, what's the deal? The daddy issues mostly, or?
I don't know. It's just what they realize. I think they're more honest. They realize that has value.
Right. They want the quick money.
And they want the quick money. A lot of them. Now, my buddy's sister's a stripper, and I was talking to her once about both of them, both her sister and her girlfriend are strippers. And I was talking to them about what's the not mentality, the femininity about that. And she says, "Well, it's just easy to make money." It's just
right.
He says it's you don't have to be honest with Uncle Sam either.
I remember my cousin. He's kind of I don't know. He's like a wise ass, but he's just like we went to this like 25 years ago, a long time ago, in younger days. Like we're at a strip club, and this chick he started dancing. He goes, "Wow, you're old." It's like you should see a look on her face. She like stopped dancing for him, and she had like this look on her, because she was kind of an older chick with these, fake boobs and
yeah,
it was fucking hilarious.
I have a younger buddy that he's a younger guy, and he's a male stripper, and he tells me about how much money he makes and everything, and it's very conversation with him.
I remember one chick, like because I used to never get like lap dances. I would just go there, hang out with him, because my cousin used to love to go, so I just hang out with him, and like these chicks would be like, "What's wrong with your friend? Is he gay?"
Yeah, they want to
stuff like that. They shame, right? They shame you that way too. Like they're fucked up women, or I don't know, strippers.
I can have a better day handing out $5 bills to bums than going to a stripper bar and handing out $5 bills. That it makes me feel better if I go hand out.
Yeah, money. That's right. That's true. It's very true. It's very true. It's like they haven't really. Well, like what value are they bringing?
Yeah, what value? It's
like taking your clothes off, or like what? Like you're not.
It's like I've seen that a million times in my life. Like Jesus.
I know, it's just it gets old. That's why I don't really respect a lot of guys, or hardly any of them that go to strip clubs now. Like you get older, I can understand if you're in your 20s or late teens. Okay, whatever, it's a new thing. Oh wow, look at this.
Oh yeah.
But when you're older and you're still doing that kind of stuff, it's like we're a fucking loser, man.
Yeah. It gets old and everything. It's just better to start thinking about the altruistic things in life that you can become as a MGTOW, and really kind of, like I always say, just be kind to your community. And
right, we're supposed to be the strong guys in the community that people turn to for advice or strength, pretty much, right?
Your morals and your ethics, and apply them to what is morally right as a MGTOW. Is you have a moral obligation to the truth, and apply that to your neighborhood. And
well, that whole theme too about family, like that's watch the video or a movie I was watching with JKRP. Like it was all the guy was like killing everyone because his family got like murdered or something. So now all of a sudden, like he's killing all these, like he's getting revenge, right? And he's killing everyone else's family. because
Right.
you know, I mean, it's a movie, whatever. But it's just this whole theme about I'll do anything for my family. Like I see it over and over again. Like, you know what I mean?
And is what I would do for my family.
Right. And yeah, and family's everything, and all this kind of stuff, and yeah, I don't think it's healthy. It's not healthy.
It's not healthy at all for your community, no, because then people generally narcissistically get in charge at power. They use that family thing to get into positions of power. Then it's what I would do for my family in a position of power.
Right.
And it's really bad for the community. Ethics 101 in any college will teach you this, and usually if the professor or the lecturer is usually a lecturer nowadays, is he's honest, he'll start with that concept.
Yeah.
If it was me, I would start with that concept.
Yeah. What would you do for your family? It's like,
what would you? That's the first thing I would say when I walked into, like, what would you do for your family? And most people would agree, I would do anything. And it's not there is where we'll start with corruption.
Right.
And business ethics, and we'll start to
unwind. And that's another one too. You hear, it was just nothing personal. It's just business.
Just business, yeah.
It's like, okay, so that's just again that goes to money. That goes more to
always
money.
Come back. It always goes. Hey, I have a kid in college, or I have, and it goes back to that same root. Everything goes back to that same root.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been going through almost 3 hours here, Joey.
Yes, Claire approves. Yes, all right, time's flying.
Yeah, and I said I was kind of not sharp today too, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired too. Yeah, but I'm gonna head out for a walk, I think, and
yeah, you want to go for a walk, and I want to go on a bike ride today. The sun just popped out, and I got my eye drops so I can go ride and not fucking start burning.
Hopefully I don't run into Claire and her. She's going to be using her knives to carve little things into trees and stuff.
Yeah, you guys,
Claire was here on a tree.
My unboxing today. If you guys have itchy eyes around this time, this Nafacon A really worked. I mean, my eyes are fine now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You got to find out what works for you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, I always wrap it up. Just empower yourself, And I think we talked about the power of no, like that's a boundary, like having healthy boundaries, and that's part of empowering yourself is having those healthy boundaries. Because if you don't have that, you're disempowering yourself. If you don't, what I'm saying, if you don't have healthy boundaries, you're disempowering yourself, then that leads to lower quality of life, and you're going to be pretty much a miserable son of a bitch.
Taking that introspection about yourself is important, but keeping your boundaries, because boundaries keep people out too. Mm-hmm. You want to be a MGTOW that keeps the bad people out and lets the good people in. And you notice the quality of your life improve at that point.
Yeah.
And with that, keep healthy boundaries. It's a good thing. You'll notice it'll pay dividends in your life. I want to thank everybody for coming around, everybody that listens in the future, or if it doesn't get taken down. And thank all the MGTOWs for coming around, and most of all, I just want to say thanks a lot for being MGTOWs.